Jacob Saga, Mirroring Arc, Chapter 40. Exploitation. After this, Salah, the son of Arpachshad, died in the same year, which was the 18th year of Jacob and Esau's lives. Salah lived for 403 years after he fathered Eber, and he had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Salah lived 433 years, and then he died. At that time, Isaac sent his younger son Jacob to stay at the house of Shem and Eber, where he learned the ways of the Lord. Jacob remained there for 32 years. Esau, however, refused to go and stayed in his father's house in the land of Canaan. Esau was constantly out in the fields hunting whatever he could bring home. This is how he spent all his days. He was a crafty and deceitful man who manipulated others, winning people over with flattery. Esau was also a skilled and brave hunter, and over time he continued as usual with his hunting. He eventually reached the field of Seir, which is also called Edom. He stayed in the land of Seir, hunting in the fields, for 16 months. After Abraham's death, God blessed his son Isaac and his children. The Lord was with Isaac just as he had been with Abraham, because Isaac followed all of the Lord's commandments exactly as Abraham had taught him. He didn't stray to the right or to the left from the path his father instructed him to follow. Then Isaac left Hebron and went to live by the well of Lahairoi, well of the vision, in the first year of the third week of that Jubilee period, and he stayed there for 7 years. The sons of Ephah were Methach, Mashar, Avi, and Zanuah. The sons of Epher were Ephron, Zur, Alarun, and Madan. The sons of Chanuk were Reuel, Racham, Azi, Alyoshub, and Alad. The sons of Abida were Chur, Malad, Keruri, and Mulchi. The sons of Eldah were Micah, Reba, Malchiah, and Gabal. These were the names of the Midianites by their families, and later the families of Midian spread throughout the land of Midian. The children of Sheba and Dedan, who were sons of Yokshan, along with their own children, didn't settle with their brothers in the same cities. Instead, they traveled and camped in different lands and wilderness areas, and continue to do so to this day. Meanwhile, the children of Midian, the son of Abraham, went east of the land of Cush. There they discovered a large valley in the eastern region, settled there, and built a city where they have lived ever since. That land is still known as Midian today. Midian lived in the city he built, along with his 5 sons, and everyone who belonged to him. In the first year of the 4th week, a famine began in the land. This was separate from the earlier famine that happened during the days of Abraham. After Abraham's death, Esau frequently went out to the fields to hunt. Around that same time, Nimrod, king of Babel, also known as Amraphel, often went hunting in the fields as well, walking with his mighty men in the cool of the day. Nimrod was watching Esau closely, harboring jealousy toward him at all times. One day, Esau went out to hunt and saw Nimrod walking in the wilderness with 2 of his men. The rest of Nimrod's warriors and people were also in the wilderness but had gone off in different directions to hunt. Esau hid himself from Nimrod, waiting in ambush. Nimrod and his men had no idea he was there, as they were walking around the field as usual, trying to keep track of where their men were hunting. When Nimrod and the 2 men with him came close to Esau's hiding place, Esau suddenly sprang out, drew his sword, rushed at Nimrod, and cut off his head. Then he fought fiercely with the 2 men. When they cried out, Esau turned and struck them down with his sword as well. All of Nimrod's warriors who had gone hunting heard the cries from far off. Recognizing the voices of the 2 men, they ran to find out what happened and found their king and the 2 men lying dead in the wilderness. When Esau saw Nimrod's warriors approaching from a distance, he fled and escaped. He took Nimrod's valuable garments, those that Nimrod had inherited from his father, and that gave him power over the entire land, and hid them in his house. Esau took the garments and ran into the city, trying to avoid Nimrod's men. He returned to his father's house completely worn out and exhausted from the battle, nearly dying from grief. When he arrived, he sat down before his brother Jacob, who was cooking lentil pottage. Esau said to Jacob,
"Feed me, I pray, with that same red pottage, for I am faint."
That's why his name was called Edom. Jacob replied,
"Sell me your birthright today, and I'll give you bread, and also some of this lentil pottage."
Esau said,
"Ugh, look, I'm about to die. What good is a birthright to me?"
Jacob said,
"Swear to me today."
So Esau swore and sold his birthright to Jacob. Esau also sold Jacob his share of the cave in the field of Machpelah, which Abraham had purchased from the children of Heth as a burial ground. Jacob paid Esau full value for it. He recorded the transaction in a book, had it witnessed, sealed it, and kept the book for himself. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and the lentil pottage. Esau ate, drank, got up, and went on his way. In doing so, he despised his birthright. That's why he was called Edom, because of the red pottage Jacob gave him in exchange for his birthright. Jacob became the elder, and Esau was stripped of his status. When Nimrod, the son of Cush, died, his men lifted his body and brought it back in a state of shock, burying him in his city. Nimrod lived for 215 years and reigned over the people of the land for 185 years. He died by Esau's sword, in disgrace and humiliation, fulfilling what Abraham's descendant had seen in a dream. After Nimrod's death, his kingdom broke into many pieces. The lands he had ruled returned to their original kings, who reclaimed them. The people of Nimrod's house were enslaved for a long time by the other kings of the land. Jacob Saga, Mirroring Arc, Chapter 41, Spin-off. During that time, after Abraham's death, the Lord brought a severe famine to the land, different from the first famine that happened during Abraham's lifetime. While the famine was affecting the land of Canaan, Isaac decided to head down to Egypt in the second year of that week, just as his father Abraham had done during the previous famine. That night, the Lord appeared to Isaac and said,
"Do not go down to Egypt. Instead, go to Gerar and stay there with Abimelech, king of the Philistines, until the famine is over. Live in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. I will give you and your descendants all these lands, and I will fulfill the promise I made to Abraham your father. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and give them all these lands. Through your offspring, all the nations of the earth will be blessed, because Abraham listened to my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws."
So Isaac went to Gerar as the Lord told him and stayed there for a full year. He went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar, and ended up living in Gerar for 21 years. When Isaac arrived in Gerar, the people noticed that Rebekah, his wife, was very beautiful. The men of the place asked him about her, and he said,
"She is my sister,"
because he was afraid to say, "She is my wife," thinking, "They might kill me because of Rebekah, since she's so beautiful." Then the princes of Abimelech spoke highly of Rebekah to the king. He didn't respond or pay attention to what they said, but he did hear that Isaac had claimed she was his sister. The king kept this information to himself. After Isaac had been there for 3 months, Abimelech looked out through a window and saw Isaac laughing and flirting with Rebekah. Isaac was staying in the outer house that belonged to the king, and it was directly across from the king's residence. Abimelech called Isaac and said,
"She is definitely your wife. Why did you say she is my sister?"
Isaac replied,
"I said it because I thought I might be killed because of her. That's why I said she's my sister."
Then Abimelech said,
"What have you done to us? One of the people could easily have slept with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us."
Abimelech ordered all his princes and important men to bring Isaac and Rebekah before him. He had them dressed in royal clothing and made them ride through the streets while it was publicly announced across the land.
"This is the man, and this is his wife. Anyone who touches either of them will surely be put to death."
After that, Isaac and Rebekah returned to live in the king's house. The Lord was with Isaac, and he continued to grow in prosperity, lacking nothing. The Lord caused Isaac to be favored by Abimelech and by all of Abimelech's people. Abimelech treated Isaac kindly because he remembered the covenant and oath that had been made between his father and Abraham. Abimelech said to Isaac,
"The whole land is before you. Settle wherever you like until you are ready to return to your own country."
He gave Isaac fields, vineyards, and the best parts of Gerar so he could plant, harvest, and enjoy the produce until the famine passed. Isaac planted crops in that land and in the same year reaped 100 times what he sowed, because the Lord blessed him. He became a powerful and wealthy man and continued to grow until he was very great. He owned many flocks, herds, and a large number of servants, and the Philistines became jealous of him. Jacob Saga, Mirroring Arc, Chapter 42, Hybrid Heist? While in the land of Seir, Esau saw a Canaanite woman named Jehudith, the daughter of Beri, son of Epher, from the families of Heth, the Hittites, who was the son of Canaan. He also took Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Esau married Judith, and he was 40 years old when he took her as his wife. He brought her to Hebron, where his father lived, and settled there. This caused great grief to both Isaac and Rebekah. Ladan had 2 sons, Hori and Hemam. His sister was named Timnah. The sons of Shobal were Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. Zibeon had 2 sons, Ajah and Anna. This Anna is the one who discovered the mules, Yamim, in the wilderness while he was tending his father Zibeon's donkeys. While Anna was watching over his father's donkeys, he would often lead them out to different areas of the wilderness to graze. One day, he brought them to a desert near the seashore, across from the wilderness where other people lived. While they were grazing, a powerful storm came in from across the sea and settled over the donkeys, causing them all to stop moving. Then about 120 huge and terrifying creatures emerged from the wilderness on the far side of the sea and came to the place where the donkeys were. They surrounded the area. From the waist down, these creatures looked like human beings, but from the waist up, some looked like bears and others like kephas. They had tails that extended from between their shoulders all the way to the ground, resembling the tails of the dachipath. These creatures mounted the donkeys, rode off on them, and disappeared. And to this day, they have never returned. One of the creatures came up to Anna, struck him with its tail, and then ran off. Anna was terrified for his life and fled to the city to escape. Anna told his sons and brothers everything that had happened. Many men went out searching for the donkeys, but they couldn't find them. From that day forward, Anna and his brothers never went back to that place because they were so afraid for their lives. Anna, son of Seir, had 2 children, Dishon and a daughter named Alibama. Dishon's sons were Hemdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Cheran. Ezer's sons were Bilhan, Zavan, and Akan. Dishon's sons were Uz and Aaron. These are the clans of the descendants of Seir the Horite, each according to their rulership in the land of Seir. Jacob Saga, Mirroring Arc, Chapter 43. Quarrel. Shem lived for 500 years after he fathered Arphaxad, and during that time he had other sons and daughters. In those days, during the 110th year of Isaac's life, which was the 50th year of Jacob's life, Shem, the son of Noah, died. He was 600 years old at the time of his death. Abimelech said to Isaac,
Behold, the whole land is before you. Settle wherever seems best to you until you return to your own land. Leave us now, for you are much mightier than we are.
So Abimelech gave Isaac fields, vineyards, and the best parts of the land of Gerar, so that he could plant crops, harvest them, and eat from the land until the famine passed. Isaac left that place in the first year of the 7th week and lived in the valleys of Gerar. All the wells that Abraham's servants had dug during his lifetime were stopped up by the Philistines after Abraham's death. They filled them with dirt. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug during the time of his father Abraham, because the Philistines had stopped them up after Abraham died. He gave them the same names his father had used. Isaac's servants also dug in the valley and discovered a well of flowing water there. The herdsmen of Gerar argued with Isaac's herdsmen, saying,
The water is ours.
So Isaac named that well Esek, perversity, because they had quarreled with him and acted perversely. They dug another well, and the herdsmen fought over that one too. Isaac named it Sitnah, enmity. Isaac moved from there and dug another well. This time there was no conflict. He named it Rehoboth, room, and said,
For now the Lord has made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land.
In the 56th year of Jacob's life, people came from Haran and told Rebekah about her brother Laban, the son of Bethuel. At that time, Laban's wife was barren and had no children, and none of his handmaids had borne children for him either. Later, the Lord remembered Adinah, Laban's wife, and she conceived and gave birth to twin daughters. Laban named the older one Leah and the younger one Rachel. When the people brought this news to Rebekah, she rejoiced greatly that the Lord had blessed her brother with children. Jacob Saga, Mirroring Arc. Chapter 44. Covenants. When the days of the famine were over, the Lord appeared to Isaac and said,
Get up, leave this place, and return to your land, the land of Canaan.
So Isaac got up from the well of the oath and returned to Hebron, which is in the land of Canaan, taking with him everything he owned, just as the Lord had commanded. He settled there near the tower of his father Abraham, living apart from his son Esau, in the mountains of Hebron. After Shem died, Jacob returned to his father in Hebron, which is in the land of Canaan. In the first year of the first week in the 44th Jubilee, Isaac went up from there to the well of the oath, Beersheba. That night, on the new moon of the first month, the Lord appeared to him and said,
I am the God of Abraham your father. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants like the sand of the earth, for the sake of Abraham my servant.
Isaac built an altar there, the same one his father Abraham had originally built. He pitched his tent there, called on the name of the Lord, and offered a sacrifice to the God of his father Abraham. They also dug a well. Then Abimelech came to Isaac from Gerar, along with Ahuzath, one of his friends, and Phicol, the commander of his army. Isaac said to them,
Why have you come to me, since you hate me and sent me away from you?
They replied,
We clearly saw that the Lord is with you. So we said, Let there now be an oath between us, between you and us, and let us make a covenant with you. You will not harm us, just as we have not harmed you. We have done only good to you and sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of the Lord.
So Isaac prepared a feast for them, and they ate and drank. The next morning they got up early and swore an oath to each other. Isaac then sent them on their way, and they left in peace. That same day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well they had dug. They said,
We have found water.
Isaac named that place the Well of the Oath, Sheba Beersheba, because it was there that he had sworn the oath with Abimelech, Ahuzath his friend, and Phicol, the commander of his army. Isaac's servants dug another well but didn't find any water. They went and told Isaac.
We didn't find water.
Isaac said,
I swore today to the Philistines, and this has now been revealed to us.
That day, Isaac realized that he had sworn under pressure to make peace with the Philistines. So he cursed them and said,
Cursed be the Philistines until the day of wrath and indignation from among all the nations. May God make them an object of ridicule, a curse and a target of wrath and fury at the hands of sinful Gentiles and the Kittim. And whoever escapes the sword of the enemy and the Kittim, may a righteous nation root out in judgment from under heaven. They will be the enemies and adversaries of my children throughout their generations on the earth. No remnant of them will remain. None will be saved on the day of wrath and judgment. Total destruction, uprooting, and expulsion from the earth is what the entire seed of the Philistines is destined for. No name or offspring will remain on earth for the Caphtorim. Even if one ascends to heaven, he will be brought down. If he strengthens himself on the earth, he will be dragged out. If he hides among the nations, he will be uprooted even from there. If he descends into Sheol, his condemnation will be great, and he will find no peace even there. If he goes into captivity, those seeking his life will kill him along the way. Neither name nor offspring will remain for him anywhere on earth. He will depart into eternal damnation.
And so it is written and engraved about him on the heavenly tablets to be carried out on the day of judgment, so that he will be completely removed from the earth. Jacob Saga, Untroubled Ark, Chapter 45, Forbid. Jacob was very afraid of his brother Esau, so he got up and fled to the house of Eber, the son of Shem, and stayed hidden there because of Esau. Jacob was 63 years old when he left Hebron in the land of Canaan. He remained hidden in Eber's house for 14 years because of his brother Esau, and during that time he continued learning the ways and commandments of the Lord. When Esau realized that Jacob had fled and escaped from him, and that Jacob had cleverly taken the blessing, he became deeply grieved and angry, not only at Jacob, but also at his father and mother. So he got up, took his wife, and moved away from his parents to the land of Seir, where he settled. While in Seir, Esau saw a woman from the daughters of Heth named Basmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. He took her as a second wife, in addition to his first. Esau renamed her Adah, saying that the blessing had now passed from him. Esau lived in the land of Seir for 6 months without seeing his parents. Then he took his wives and returned to the land of Canaan, placing both wives in his father's house in Hebron. Esau's wives upset Isaac and Rebekah with their actions. They did not follow the ways of the Lord, but instead served their father's gods, idols of wood and stone, just as he had taught them. They were even more wicked than their father, following their own evil desires. They offered sacrifices and burned incense to the Baalim. Isaac and Rebekah grew weary because of them. Rebekah said to Isaac,
I'm tired of living because Esau has married daughters of Heth. If Jacob also marries a woman from the daughters of Heth, like these Canaanite women, what's the point of my life? The daughters of Canaan are evil.
In the 2nd year of this week, during this Jubilee, Rebekah called Jacob and said to him,
My son, don't marry any of the daughters of Canaan like your brother Esau, who took 2 wives from them. They have made my life bitter with their filthy behavior. Everything they do is sinful and lustful, and there's no righteousness in them. Their actions are evil. My son, I love you deeply, and I bless you constantly day and night. Please listen to me and do what I ask. Don't take a wife from the daughters of this land, but instead marry someone from my father's household, from among his relatives. If you do, the Most High God will bless you, and your children will be righteous and holy."
Jacob replied to his mother,
Look, mother, I'm 63 years old, and I've never touched a woman, been betrothed, or even thought of marrying a Canaanite. I remember what Abraham, our father, said. He commanded me not to marry a Canaanite, but to marry someone from our own family. I've heard that daughters were born to Laban, your brother, and I've set my heart on choosing a wife from among them. That's why I've guarded myself all these years and haven't sinned or corrupted myself. When it comes to lust and fornication, Abraham gave me many instructions. But for 22 years now, my brother has pressured me, telling me to marry one of his wife's sisters, but I've refused to follow his example. I swear before you, mother, that I'll never marry a daughter from the seed of Canaan or act wickedly like Esau. Don't worry, I will do as you ask, live righteously, and never stray from the right path.
Then Rebekah looked up to heaven, lifted her hands, opened her mouth, and praised the Most High God, the Creator of heaven and earth. She said,
"Blessed be the Lord God, and may his holy name be praised forever. He has given me Jacob, a pure son and a holy seed. He belongs to you, Lord, and his children will belong to you through all generations. Bless him, Lord, and give me words of righteousness so I can bless him."
At that moment, the spirit of righteousness came over her, and she placed both hands on Jacob's head and said,
"Blessed are you, Lord of righteousness and eternal God. May you bless my son above all men. May you guide him in the path of righteousness and show his descendants what righteousness is. May his children increase during his lifetime, one for every month of the year. May they grow in number greater than the stars in the sky and the sand on the shore. May you give them this beautiful land just as you promised Abraham and his descendants forever. May they possess it always. May I live to see your blessed children, my son, and may all your descendants be holy and blessed. As you have given life and joy to your mother, the one who bore you now blesses you. My love, my body, and my mouth all bless and praise you. May your family grow and spread across the earth, and may your children live in the joy of heaven and earth forever. May your name and your descendants last forever, and may the Most High God be their God. May the God of righteousness live among them, and may his sanctuary be built through them for all time. Blessed be those who bless you, and may anyone who falsely curses you be cursed."
She kissed Jacob and said,
"May the Lord of the world love you, just as your mother's heart loves you. May my love rejoice in you and bless you."
Then she finished blessing him. These are the years of Ishmael, son of Abraham, 137 years. He passed away and died in the 64th year of Jacob's life, and was gathered to his people. His descendants lived from Havilah to Shur, which is near Egypt, as you go toward Assyria. Ishmael died in the presence of all his brothers. When Isaac heard of Ishmael's death, he mourned and lamented for him for many days. During this time, Adah, Esau's wife, became pregnant and gave birth to a son. Esau named him Eliphaz. Esau was 65 years old when Eliphaz was born. Jacob Saga, Untroubled Ark, Chapter 46. Scheming! And it came to pass in the 7th year of this week, that when Isaac, the son of Abraham, was old and his eyesight had grown weak so that he could no longer see, he called his oldest son Esau and said,
My son.
And Esau answered him.
Here I am.
Then Isaac said,
Look, I'm old, and I don't know how much time I have left. So now, take your weapons, your quiver and your bow, go out into the field and hunt some game for me. Prepare for me the kind of tasty food that I love, and bring it to me to eat, so that I may bless you before I die.
Rebekah overheard when Isaac spoke to Esau, and Esau went out early that morning to the field, as usual, to hunt game and bring it back. Then Rebekah said to her son Jacob,
"Listen, I heard your father speaking to your brother Esau. He said, 'Bring me game and prepare a savory meal for me to eat, so that I may bless you before the Lord before I die.' So now, my son, do what I tell you. Go to the flock and bring me 2 good young goats, and I will prepare a delicious meal for your father, just the way he likes it. Then you will bring it to your father so he can eat and bless you before he dies."
But Jacob said to his mother Rebekah,
Mother, I'll get him anything he wants to eat, anything that will please him. But I'm worried he'll recognize my voice and want to touch me. Look, my brother Esau is hairy, and I have smooth skin. What if my father touches me? He'll think I'm trying to trick him, and I'll end up cursed instead of blessed.
His mother said,
Let the curse fall on me, my son. Just do as I say and go get them for me.
Jacob followed his mother's instructions. He went and brought her 2 good fat young goats, and she prepared a savory meal just the way Isaac liked it. Then Rebekah took Esau's best clothes, which she kept with her in the house, and dressed Jacob, her younger son, in them. She also put the skins of the goats on Jacob's hands and the smooth part of his neck. Then she handed Jacob the food and bread she had prepared. Jacob went in to his father and said,
My father.
Isaac answered,
Here I am. Who are you, my son?
Jacob said to his father,
I'm Esau, your firstborn. I've done what you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game so that you can bless me.
Isaac asked.
How did you find it so quickly, my son?
Jacob replied,
Because the Lord your God brought it to me.
Then Isaac said,
Come closer so I can feel you, my son, to know whether you are really Esau or not.
Jacob went closer to his father Isaac, who felt him and said,
The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are Esau's hands.
He didn't recognize him because it had been ordained from heaven to take away Isaac's discernment. Since Jacob's hands were hairy like Esau's, Isaac blessed him. Then he asked again,
Are you really my son, Esau?
And Jacob said,
I am.
Isaac said,
Bring the food to me, so I may eat my son's game and bless you.
Jacob brought it to him, and he ate. Then he brought him wine, and he drank. Afterward, Isaac said to him,
Come closer now and kiss me, my son.
Jacob came close and kissed him. Isaac smelled the scent of his clothes and blessed him, saying,
Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you the dew of heaven, the richness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. May people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. May all the blessings that the Lord has given me and gave to Abraham my father be passed to you and your descendants forever. Cursed is anyone who curses you, and blessed is everyone who blesses you.
Isaac sat up, ate and drank, and felt content. Just as Isaac finished blessing Jacob and Jacob had barely left his father's presence, Esau returned from hunting. He had also prepared a savory meal and brought it to his father, saying,
Let my father sit up and eat his son's game so that you may bless me.
Isaac asked him.
Who are you?
Esau replied,
I am your firstborn, your son, Esau. I've done what you asked.
Isaac began to tremble violently and said,
Then who was it that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it all before you came, and I blessed him, and he will indeed be blessed, and all his descendants forever.
When Esau realized what Jacob had done, he became furious with his brother, and when he heard his father's words, he let out a loud and bitter cry and said,
Bless me too, my father. Bless me.
But Isaac said,
Your brother came in deceitfully and took your blessing.
Esau said,
So now is he rightly named Jacob? He has cheated me twice. First he took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing.
Then he added,
Haven't you saved even one blessing for me?
Esau wept bitterly. When Isaac heard his son Esau weeping, he said to him,
What can I do, my son? Your brother came in deceitfully and stole your blessing.
Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him, and his anger burned deeply against him. Isaac answered Esau,
Look, I've made him your master, and I've given all his brothers to him as servants. I've sustained him with grain and wine. What can I do now for you, my son?
Esau said to his father,
Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me too, me also, O my father.
And Esau lifted his voice and wept. Then Isaac his father said,
Look, Your dwelling will be in the richness of the earth, and the dew from heaven above. You will live by your sword and serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will break his yoke from your neck. You will commit a complete sin unto death, and your descendants will be uprooted from under heaven.
Jacob Saga, Untroubled Ark, Chapter 47. Resolute. After spending 14 years living in the house of Eber, Jacob wanted to visit his father and mother, so he traveled to their home in Hebron. At that time, Esau had forgotten what Jacob had done to him, how he had taken the blessing from him years before. But when Esau saw Jacob returning to visit their parents, he remembered everything Jacob had done to him and became furious. He started plotting to kill Jacob. Isaac, the son of Abraham, was old and advanced in age, and Esau said,
Now that my father's time is drawing near, once he dies, I will kill my brother Jacob.
When Rebekah heard what Esau, her older son, had said, she called for Jacob, her younger son, and told him,
Your brother Esau is comforting himself with the idea of killing you. Now listen to me, my son. Get up and flee to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay there with him for a few days until your brother's rage cools down. Once he calms down and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word and bring you back from there. Why should I lose both of you in a single day?
But Jacob said,
I'm not afraid. If he tries to kill me, I'll kill him.
Rebekah replied,
Don't let me lose both my sons in one day.
Jacob then said to her,
Look, you know that my father is old and has lost his sight. If I leave him, it will upset him, because he'll see it as abandonment. He'll be angry and might curse me. I'm not going, unless he sends me. Then I'll go.
Rebekah said,
I'll go in and speak to him, and he will send you away.
So Rebekah went to Isaac and said,
I'm tired of living because of the 2 daughters of Heth, whom Esau has married. If Jacob marries someone like them from the land, what's the point of going on living? The daughters of Canaan are evil.
Isaac called Jacob and said,
Don't marry a woman from the daughters of Canaan, just as our father Abraham commanded us by the word of the Lord. He said, To your descendants I will give this land. If your children keep my covenant, then I will fulfill everything I promised them, and I will not abandon them. So now, my son, listen carefully to everything I tell you. Do not marry any of the daughters of Canaan. Get up and go to Haran in Pagnaram in Mesopotamia, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father. Choose a wife for yourself there from among the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. Be careful not to forget the Lord your God, or his ways in the land you go to. Don't mix with the people there or follow empty things, and abandon the Lord your God. When you arrive, serve the Lord and don't turn to the right or to the left from what I have commanded and what you have learned. May Almighty God give you favor with the people of the land, so you can marry someone of your choice, someone who is good and upright in the Lord's ways. May God give you and your descendants the blessing he gave to Abraham. May he make you fruitful and multiply you, so you become a great nation in the land you're going to. And may God bring you back to this land, the place where your father lives, with children, great wealth, joy, and happiness.
After Isaac finished blessing and instructing Jacob, he gave him many gifts, including silver and gold. Then he sent him away. Jacob obeyed his father and mother, kissed them, and set out for Padanaram in Mesopotamia, to Laban, son of Bethuel the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, mother of Jacob and Esau. Jacob was 77 years old when he left the land of Canaan from Beersheba. Jacob departed from the well of the oath in Beersheba to go to Haran in the first year of the 2nd week in the 44th Jubilee. After Jacob left for Mesopotamia, Rebekah's heart was heavy with sorrow for her son, and she cried. Isaac said to her,
My sister, don't cry over Jacob. He's going in peace, and he will return in peace. The Most High God will protect him from all harm and be with him. He won't leave him all his life. I know Jacob will succeed in all he does wherever he goes, until he comes back to us in peace and we see him again. Don't be afraid for him, my sister. He walks a straight path. He is an upright and faithful man. He won't be destroyed. Don't cry.
And Isaac comforted Rebekah concerning their son Jacob and blessed him. Jacob Saga, Untroubled Ark, Chapter 48, Assassination Attempt. When Jacob left to go to Haran, Esau called his son Eliphaz and spoke to him in secret, saying,
Listen carefully. Take your sword, go after Jacob, get ahead of him on the road, hide in the mountains, and kill him with your sword. Take everything he has and come back to me.
Eliphaz, Esau's son, was energetic and skilled with the bow, just as his father had taught him. He was a well-known hunter and a brave man. Eliphaz did exactly as his father had commanded. He was 13 years old at the time, and he took 10 of his mother's brothers with him and went after Jacob. He tracked Jacob closely and waited for him near the border of the land of Canaan, across from the city of Shechem. When Jacob saw Eliphaz and his men coming after him, he stopped where he was to understand what was happening, since he didn't know the reason for their pursuit. Eliphaz drew his sword and began advancing toward Jacob with his men. Jacob asked them,
Why have you come here? Why are you chasing me with swords?
Eliphaz came closer and answered,
This is what my father ordered me to do, and I won't disobey his command.
When Jacob realized that Esau had instructed Eliphaz to attack him, he stepped forward and pleaded with Eliphaz and his men, saying,
Look, take everything I have, everything my father and mother gave me. Take it all and go. But don't kill me. Let this act be counted to you as righteousness.
And the Lord caused Jacob to find favor in the eyes of Eliphaz and his men, and they listened to him. They didn't kill him. Instead, they took everything Jacob had, including the silver and gold he had brought from Beersheba, leaving him with nothing. Eliphaz and his men then left Jacob and returned to Esau in Beersheba. They told him everything that had happened and gave him all they had taken from Jacob. Esau was angry with Eliphaz and his men because they hadn't killed Jacob. They replied to Esau,
Jacob begged us not to kill him, and we felt pity for him. So we took everything he had and brought it to you.
Esau took all the silver and gold that Eliphaz had taken from Jacob and stored it in his house. Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him to Padanaram to find a wife there. As he blessed him, Isaac gave him this command,
Do not marry one of the daughters of Canaan.
Esau noticed that the daughters of Canaan were displeasing to both Isaac and Rebekah. He also saw that Jacob had obeyed their instructions and had gone to Padanaram. So Esau went to his uncle Ishmael and took Mahalath, also called Machlath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, and sister of Nebaioth, as a wife in addition to his others. He gathered all his father's flocks and his wives and moved to live on Mount Seir, leaving his father Isaac alone at the well of the oath. This took place during the time Jacob was on his way to Mesopotamia. Jacob Saga, Untroubled Ark. Chapter 49, Reassurance. Jacob continued on his journey toward Haran and came as far as Mount Moriah, reaching Luz in the mountains, which is Bethel, on the new moon of the first month of that week. He arrived at the place in the evening and turned off the road to the west to spend the night there, because the sun had set. He took one of the stones from the place, set it under his head beneath a tree, and slept there. He was traveling alone. He dreamed, and in the dream he saw a ladder set up on the earth, with its top reaching into heaven. He saw the angels of God going up and coming down on it, and the Lord was standing at the top. Then the Lord said,
I am the Lord God of Abraham your father, and the God of Isaac. The land you're lying on, I will give it to you and to your descendants. Your descendants will be as countless as the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west, the east, the north, and the south. Through you and your descendants all the families of the earth will be blessed. Look, I am with you. I will watch over you wherever you go and bring you back to this land. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars of heaven. I will cause all your enemies to fall before you. If they make war against you, they will not succeed. I will bring you back to this land with joy, with children, and with great wealth. I will not leave you until I have done everything I've promised you.
Jacob woke up from his sleep and said,
Surely the Lord is in this place, and I didn't know it.
He was afraid and said,
How awe-inspiring this place is. This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven.
Early in the morning, Jacob got up, took the stone he had used as a pillow, set it up as a pillar, and poured oil on top of it. He named the place Bethel, though the city had originally been called Luz. Then Jacob made a vow, saying,
If God will be with me, protect me on this journey. Give me food to eat and clothes to wear, and bring me back safely to my father's house. Then the Lord will be my God. And this stone I've set up as a pillar will be God's house. And from all that you give me, I will surely give 1/10 back to you.
Jacob Saga, Sabotage Arc, Chapter 50, The Vow. Jacob got up from that place feeling joyful, and as he walked, his feet felt light from the joy in his heart. He went on to the land of the people of the east and returned to Haran, where he sat by the shepherd's well. Looking around, he saw a well in the field with 3 flocks of sheep lying nearby. The flocks were watered from that well, and a large stone covered its mouth. When all the flocks were gathered, they would roll the stone from the mouth of the well, water the sheep, and then put the stone back in its place. Jacob said to the men,
My brothers, where are you from?
They replied,
We're from Haran.
He asked,
Do you know Laban, the son of Nahor?
They said,
We know him.
Then Jacob said,
Is he doing well?
They answered,
He's doing well. Look, Rachel, his daughter, is coming with the sheep.
Jacob said,
It's still the middle of the day. It's not time yet to gather the livestock. Water the sheep and go feed them.
But they said,
We can't, not until all the flocks are gathered and the stone is rolled away from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep.
While he was still talking with them, Rachel, the daughter of Laban, came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. When Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and Laban's sheep, he went over, rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. Then Jacob ran to Rachel, kissed her, and lifted his voice, and wept. He told Rachel that he was her father's relative and the son of Rebekah. She ran to tell her father. Jacob continued to cry because he had brought nothing with him to offer Laban's household. When Laban heard that his sister's son Jacob had arrived, he ran to meet him. He embraced him, kissed him, brought him into his house, and gave him bread, and Jacob ate. Jacob then told Laban everything Esau had done to him and what Esau's son Eliphaz had done to him on the way. Laban said to Jacob,
Surely you are my own flesh and blood.
Jacob stayed in Laban's house for 1 month. He ate and drank there. Then Laban said to him,
Just because you're my relative, should you serve me for nothing? Tell me, what should your wages be?
Laban had no sons, only daughters. His other wives and handmaids were still barren at that time. These were the names of the daughters born to him by his wife Adinah. The older one was Leah, and the younger was Rachel. Leah had tender eyes, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. Jacob loved Rachel. Jacob loved Rachel and said,
I will serve you 7 years for your younger daughter Rachel.
Laban agreed and said,
It's better for me to give her to you than to another man. Stay here with me.
Eber lived 430 years after he fathered Peleg, and he had other sons and daughters. In the 2nd year of Jacob's stay in Haran, which was the 79th year of Jacob's life, Eber, the son of Shem, died. He was 464 years old when he died. When Jacob heard about Eber's death, he was deeply grieved and mourned and lamented for him many days. Jacob Saga, Sabotage Arc, Chapter 51, Relocation. In the 3rd year of Jacob's stay in Haran, Bashemath, the daughter of Ishmael and wife of Esau, gave birth to a son. Esau named him Reuel. In the 4th year of Jacob's stay in Laban's house, the Lord visited Laban and remembered him because of Jacob. Sons were born to Laban. His firstborn was Beor, his second was Alab, and his third was Korash. The Lord blessed Laban with riches, honor, sons, and daughters, and Laban's household grew greatly because of Jacob. During that time, Jacob worked for Laban in every kind of task, both in the house and in the field, and the Lord's blessing was upon everything that belonged to Laban, both at home and in the field. In the 5th year, Jehudith, the daughter of Beri and wife of Esau, died in the land of Canaan. She had no sons, only daughters. These are the names of her daughters born to Esau. The older was Marzith, and the younger was Puith. Around that time in Canaan, a quarrel broke out between Esau's herdsmen and the herdsmen of the Canaanite inhabitants. Esau's livestock and possessions had become too many for him to remain in his father's house in the land of Canaan, and the land couldn't support him because of the size of his herds. When Esau saw that conflict with the people of Canaan was growing worse, He got up and took his wives, sons, daughters, all his possessions, the livestock he owned, and everything he had acquired in Canaan. He left the land and moved away from the people there, heading to the land of Seir, away from his brother Jacob. Esau and everything he owned settled in the land of Seir. Esau is Edom. In the 6th year, Esau took another wife in addition to the others, Aholibama, the daughter of Zabeon, the Hivite. Esau brought her to the land of Canaan. These are the sons of Aholibama, Esau's wife, Duke Jush, Duke Jaalan, and Duke Korah. These were the dukes who came from Aholibama, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these are their dukes. These are the generations of Esau, born to him in the land of Canaan and on Mount Seir. Esau had 5 sons. From time to time, Esau would visit his father and mother in the land of Canaan. He intermarried with the Horites and gave his daughters in marriage to the sons of Seir the Horite. He gave his older daughter Marzith to Anah, the son of Zabeon, his wife's brother. He gave Puith to Azar, the son of Bilhan the Horite. Esau lived in the mountains with his children, and they were fruitful and multiplied. Jacob Saga. Sabotage Ark. Chapter 52. Subterfuge. In the 1st year of the 3rd week, Jacob had completed 7 years of service for Rachel, and to him they seemed like only a few days because of how much he loved her. Jacob said to Laban,
"Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in to her."
So Laban gathered all the men of the area and held a feast. Everyone at the feast knew what Laban had done to Jacob, but no one said anything to him. That night, all the neighbors came to Jacob's house to celebrate. They ate, drank, rejoiced, played timbrels, danced in front of Leah, and chanted.
Hallelujah.
Jacob heard their words, but didn't understand what they meant. He thought it might just be a local custom. The neighbors continued speaking these words to him throughout the night, and all the lights in Laban's house were put out. Later in the evening, Laban came into the house, and after that, Jacob came in with the people from the feast. Laban had already extinguished all the lights. Jacob asked him,
"Why did you do this thing to us?"
Laban replied,
Such is our custom in this land.
Then Laban took his daughter Leah and brought her to Jacob, and Jacob lay with her, believing she was Rachel. He didn't realize it was Leah. Laban gave his daughter Leah his maid Zilpah to be her handmaid. In the morning, when daylight came, Jacob turned to his wife and saw that it was Leah lying beside him. He said,
"Now I understand what the neighbors meant last night. They said Hileah, and I didn't know it."
Jacob called for Laban and said,
"What is this you've done to me? Didn't I serve you for Rachel? Why did you deceive me and give me Leah? Take your daughter back and I'll leave, because you've done me wrong."
Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah. Leah's eyes were weak, though her form was very attractive. But Rachel had both beautiful eyes and a beautiful, very attractive form. Laban said to Jacob,
It's not our custom here to give the younger daughter before the elder.
"And it's not right to do so, for it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets that no one should give the younger before the elder. The elder must be given first, and only then the younger. Anyone who reverses this is considered guilty in heaven, and no one who does this is considered righteous, because the deed is wicked before the Lord. Command the children of Israel never to do this. Never take or give the younger before the elder, for it is a very wicked act." Laban said to Jacob,
Let the 7 days of this feast pass, and then I will give you Rachel. But you must serve me another 7 years, and continue to tend my sheep as you did before.
When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he opened her womb. She conceived and gave Jacob 4 sons during that time. Leah conceived and gave birth to a son on the 14th day of the 9th month, in the 1st year of the 3rd week. She named him Reuben, and said,
Surely the Lord has looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me.
She conceived again and gave birth to a son on the 21st day of the 10th month, in the 3rd year of this week. She said,
Because the Lord has heard I was hated, he has therefore given me this son also.
And she named him Simeon. She conceived again and gave birth to a son on the new moon of the 1st month, in the 6th year of this week. She said,
Now this time my husband will be joined to me, because I have given him 3 sons.
So he was named Levi. Bilhah conceived and gave birth to a son for Jacob on the 9th day of the 6th month, in the 6th year of the 3rd week. Rachel said,
God has judged me, and has also heard my voice, and has given me a son.
So she named him Dan. Leah conceived again and gave birth to a son on the 15th day of the 3rd month, in the 1st year of the 4th week. She said,
Now I will praise the Lord.
and she named him Judah. After that, she stopped bearing children. These were their names: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. After Judah was born, Leah stopped having children for a time. Jacob Saga, Sabotage Arc, Chapter 53, Desperation. Jacob did as he was told and completed Leah's week. Then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel to be his wife as well. Laban also gave Rachel his servant Bilhah to be her handmaid. Jacob also slept with Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, so he stayed and served Laban for another 7 years. When Rachel saw that she wasn't having any children for Jacob, she became jealous of her sister. She said to Jacob,
"Give me children or I'll die."
Jacob became angry with Rachel and replied,
Am I in God's place? He's the one who has kept you from having children.
Then Rachel said,
"Here is my servant Bilhah. Sleep with her, and she will have children on my behalf so I can build a family through her."
So Rachel gave Jacob her servant Bilhah as a wife, and Jacob slept with her. Bilhah, Rachel's servant, conceived again and bore Jacob a second son on the 5th day of the 7th month, in the 2nd year of the 4th week. Rachel said,
I have fought hard struggles with my sister, and I've won.
So she named him Naphtali. When Leah saw she had stopped having children, she became jealous of Rachel. So she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Zilpah, Leah's servant, bore Jacob a son on the 12th day of the 8th month, in the 3rd year of the 4th week. Leah said,
A troop is coming.
So she named him Gad. During the wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the fields and found some mandrakes. He brought them to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah,
Please give me some of your son's mandrakes.
but Leah replied,
Is it not enough that you've taken my husband? Now you want to take my son's mandrakes too?
Rachel said,
Fine, he can sleep with you tonight in exchange for your son's mandrakes.
That evening, when Jacob came in from the fields, Leah went out to meet him and said,
You must sleep with me tonight. I've hired you with my son's mandrakes.
So he slept with her that night. God listened to Leah, and she conceived and gave Jacob a 5th son on the 4th day of the 5th month, in the 4th year of the 4th week. Leah said,
God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband.
So she named him Issachar. Zilpah, Leah's servant, gave birth to Jacob's 2nd son on the 2nd day of the 11th month, in the 5th year of the 4th week. Leah said,
Oh, how happy I am. Woman will call me blessed.
So she named him Asher. Rachel was still childless during this time. She prayed to the Lord, saying,
O Lord God, remember me and visit me, I beg you. My husband will soon reject me because I haven't given him any children. Please, Lord God, hear my plea and look upon my suffering. Give me children like one of the servant women, so I may no longer carry this shame.
God remembered Rachel, heard her prayer, and opened her womb. Jacob was 91 years old when she gave birth. She conceived and had a son on the new moon of the 4th month, in the 6th year of the 4th week. She said,
God has taken away my disgrace.
She named him Joseph, saying,
The Lord will add another son to me.
Leah became pregnant again and bore Jacob a 6th son on the 7th day of the 7th month, in the 6th year of the 4th week. She said,
God has given me a good gift. Now my husband will live with me because I have given him 6 sons.
So she named him Zabulon. After that, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Jacob Saga, Sabotage Arc, Chapter 54, Manipulation. At that time, Jacob's mother Rebekah sent her nurse Deborah, the daughter of Uz, along with 2 of Isaac's servants to Jacob. They came to him in Haran and said,
Rebekah has sent us to you, so that you will return to your father's house in the land of Canaan.
Jacob listened to them and followed what his mother had asked. When Rachel gave birth to Joseph, it marked the end of the 14 years that Jacob had stayed in Haran. Then Jacob said to Laban,
Send me on my way so I can return to my own place, to my homeland. Let me go to my father Isaac and build my own house. Give me my wives and children, for whom I have served you, and let me go. You know how faithfully I've served you.
Laban replied,
If I've found favor in your eyes, please don't leave me. I've learned from experience that the Lord has blessed me because of you. Name your wages, and I'll pay them.
Jacob said,
You know how I've served you, and how your livestock has done under my care. You had very little before I came, but now it has increased into a great multitude. The Lord has blessed you since I arrived. But when will I start providing for my own household too?
Laban asked,
What should I give you?
Jacob answered,
You don't need to give me anything. If you agree to this, I will continue to tend and watch over your flock. Today I'll go through your entire flock and remove every speckled or spotted animal, every brown sheep, and every spotted or speckled goat. These will be my wages. My honesty will be clear later when you check on my wages. Any goat that isn't speckled or spotted, and any sheep that isn't brown, will be considered stolen if found with me.
They agreed that Jacob would receive as his wages the lambs and kids that were born black, spotted, or white. Laban agreed and removed that day all the ring-straked and spotted male goats, all the speckled and spotted female goats, every one with white markings, and all the brown sheep, and gave them to Jacob. Jacob placed these animals under the care of his sons, while he continued tending the rest of Laban's flock. He set a 3-day journey between himself and Laban, and Jacob fed the remaining flocks belonging to Laban. When Isaac's servants saw that Jacob wasn't going to return with them right away to the land of Canaan, they left and went back home. But Deborah stayed with Jacob in Haran and didn't return with the servants. She lived there with Jacob's wives and children. Jacob took rods from green poplar, hazel, and chestnut trees. He peeled white stripes into them to expose the white underneath. Then he set the peeled rods in front of the flocks at the watering troughs where they came to drink, so they would mate while facing the rods. The flocks conceived in front of the rods and gave birth to young that were ring-straked, speckled, and spotted. Jacob separated the lambs and made the flocks face the ring-straked and brown animals in Laban's herd. He kept his own flocks separate and didn't mix them with Laban's. Whenever the stronger animals were breeding, Jacob put the rods in front of them at the troughs, so they'd conceive near the rods. But when the weaker animals came, he didn't place the rods, so the weak ones belonged to Laban and the strong ones to Jacob. Jacob continued to work for Laban for 6 more years. Whenever the sheep gave birth, Jacob took the speckled and spotted ones, just as he had agreed with Laban. He did this consistently during those 6 years, and Jacob's wealth grew greatly. He had herds of cattle, female and male servants, camels, and donkeys. Jacob owned 200 herds of cattle. His livestock were large, beautiful, and very productive. People from all around wanted Jacob's animals because they were so successful. Many came to trade for Jacob's flocks, and he exchanged sheep for male or female servants, donkeys, camels. Whatever he wanted, they gave him. Jacob gained wealth, honor, and possessions through these dealings, and Laban's children grew jealous of his success. Jacob prospered greatly and had many cattle, servants, camels, and donkeys. Laban and his sons became envious of Jacob. Laban took his sheep back from him and watched Jacob closely with bad intentions. Jacob Saga, Sabotage Ark. Chapter 55. Obstructed. Jacob overheard Laban's sons saying,
Jacob has taken everything that belonged to our father, and from what was our father's, he's gained all this wealth.
Jacob also noticed that Laban and his sons didn't look at him the same way they used to. At the end of the 6 years, the Lord appeared to Jacob and said,
Get up, leave this land, and return to the land where you were born. I'll be with you.
Jacob sent for Rachel and Leah and brought them out to the field where his flock was. He said to them,
I can see that your father no longer looks at me the way he used to, but the God of my father has been with me. You both know that I've worked hard for your father with all my strength, but he's deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. Still, God didn't allow him to harm me. Whenever he said, the speckled ones will be your wages, all the animals gave birth to speckled offspring. And when he said, the striped ones will be your wages, all the animals gave birth to striped offspring. So God has taken away your father's livestock and given them to me. When the animals were mating, I looked up and saw in a dream that the rams mounting the flock were striped, speckled and spotted. Then the angel of God spoke to me in a dream, calling, "Jacob." I answered, "Here I am." And he said, "Look up and see, all the rams mounting the flock are striped, speckled, and spotted. I've seen everything Laban has done to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed the pillar and made a vow to me. Now get up, leave this land, and return to your family."
Rachel and Leah replied,
Is there any portion or inheritance left for us in our father's house?
Doesn't he treat us like strangers? He sold us and has spent all the money. Everything God has taken from our father belongs to us and our children. So go ahead and do whatever God told you.
After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Laban went out to shear his sheep, which were a 3-day journey away. Seeing this, Jacob called Leah and Rachel and spoke kindly to them, encouraging them to go with him to Canaan. He shared how he'd seen all of it in a dream, everything God had said to him about returning to his father's house. They responded,
Wherever you go, we will go with you.
So Jacob got up, placed his sons and wives on camels, and took all the livestock and possessions he had acquired in Paddan Aram. He was heading to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. Laban didn't know Jacob had left, as he was still out shearing sheep that day. Meanwhile, Rachel stole her father's images. She hid them on the camel she was riding and left. Jacob gave thanks and blessed the God of Isaac, his father, and the God of Abraham, his grandfather. Without telling Laban, he quietly left. He fled with everything he owned, crossed the river, and headed toward the mountains of Gilead. Here's how those images were made. They would kill a firstborn man, shave his head, salt it, and anoint it with oil. Then they'd make a small copper or gold tablet, write a name on it, and place it under the tongue of the head. The head was then placed in a house with lights lit in front of it, and people would bow to it. When they bowed, it would speak to them about whatever they asked, through the power of the name written on the tablet. Others made images shaped like humans, out of gold or silver, and visited them at specific times. These figures would receive the influence of the stars and tell the future. These are the types of images Rachel had stolen from her father. Rachel stole her father's images to stop him from using them to find out where Jacob had gone. When Laban got home, he asked around about Jacob and his family, but no one knew where they were. Then he tried to use his images to find them, but couldn't, because they were missing. So he turned to some other images, and those told him that Jacob had run away to his father's land in Canaan. In the 7th year of the 4th week, on the 21st day of the 1st month, Jacob set out toward Gilead. Laban pursued him and caught up with him in the mountains of Gilead on the 13th day of the 3rd month, 7 days later. God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream that night and warned him,
"Be careful not to say anything to Jacob, good or bad."
Laban caught up to Jacob, who had pitched his tent in the mountains. Laban and his brothers set up camp nearby. Laban said to Jacob,
"What have you done, sneaking away and taking my daughters like captives taken in war? Why did you leave secretly and deceive me? You didn't even give me a chance to send you off with celebration, with songs, tambourine, and harp. You didn't even let me kiss my sons and daughters goodbye. What you did was foolish. I could hurt you if I wanted. But the God of your father warned me last night, saying, 'Don't say anything to Jacob, good or bad.' Even if you had to go because you missed your father's house so much, why did you steal my gods?"
Jacob replied,
"I was afraid. I thought you might take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find your gods with anyone here, they won't live. Go ahead and look in front of our relatives. If you find anything that belongs to you, take it."
Jacob didn't know that Rachel had stolen the images. Laban searched Jacob's tent, then Leah's, then the tents of the 2 maidservants, but found nothing. Then he went into Rachel's tent. Rachel had hidden the images in the camel's saddle and was sitting on them. Laban searched the entire tent but didn't find them. Rachel said to her father,
Please don't be upset that I can't stand up for you. The way of women is upon me.
So he searched, but didn't find the images. Jacob got angry and argued with Laban. He said,
"What wrong have I done? What sin have I committed that you chase after me like this? You've gone through all my things. Did you find anything that belongs to you? Put it here in front of our relatives and let them decide between us. For 20 years I've been with you. Your ewes and female goats never miscarried, and I never ate a single ram from your flock. If something was killed by wild animals, I didn't bring it to you. I took the loss myself. You made me pay for anything stolen, whether it happened in the day or at night. I dealt with scorching heat during the day and freezing cold at night, and I lost sleep. I've served you 20 years. 14 for your 2 daughters and 6 for your flocks, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham and the fear of Isaac hadn't been with me, you would have sent me away with nothing. But God saw my suffering and hard work and rebuked you last night.
Laban answered,
These daughters are mine. These children are mine. The livestock is mine. Everything you see is mine. But what can I do today for my daughters or their children whom they've borne? Come now.
Laban said,
Let's make a covenant, you and I, and let it serve as a witness between us.
On the 15th day, Jacob held a feast for Laban and everyone with him. Jacob and Laban both swore not to cross over the mountain of Gilead toward each other with harmful intentions. Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. He told his brothers,
Gather some stones.
They did and made a heap, and they ate there on the heap. Laban called it Jegar-sahadutha, while Jacob called it Galeed. Laban said,
This heap is a witness between us today.
So the place was named Galeed, Gilead, and also Mizpah, because he said,
May the Lord watch between you and me while we are apart. Let this covenant be a witness between us. If you mistreat my daughters or take other wives besides them, even though no one is with us, remember, God is a witness between you and me.
Laban said to Jacob,
Look at this heap and pillar I've set between us. They are witnesses that I won't cross over to you, and you won't cross over to me to do harm. May the God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, and their father's God judge between us.
And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. This land was once called the land of the Rephaim because that's who lived there. Giants ranging in height from 10 to 7 cubits. Their territory stretched from the land of the Ammonites to Mount Hermon. Their kingdom's main cities were Karnaim, Ashtaroth, Edrei, Mesher, and Baon. But the Lord destroyed them because of their great wickedness. Then the Amorites took over the land. They too were evil and sinful, and no nation has ever matched their sins. Now they no longer exist or have any life on the earth. Jacob Saga, Sabotage Ark, Chapter 56, Wrestling. Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and called his brothers to join him for a meal. They ate together and stayed the night on the mountain. Early the next morning, Laban got up, kissed his sons and daughters, and blessed them. Then Laban returned to Mesopotamia, in the land of the east, while Jacob went back to the land of Gilead. Laban quickly sent his 17-year-old son Beor, along with Abichoroth the son of Uz, the son of Nahor, and 10 other men. They hurried ahead of Jacob by taking a different route and made their way to the land of Seir. When they arrived, they said to Esau,
This is what your brother and relative, your mother's brother Laban, son of Bethuel, says. Have you heard what your brother Jacob has done to me? He came to me poor and empty-handed. I welcomed him into my home with honor, made him great, and gave him my 2 daughters as wives along with 2 of my maids. God blessed him because of me, and he prospered greatly. He had sons and daughters, male and female servants, and a huge amount of flocks, herds, camels, donkeys, silver, and gold. Then, when he saw his wealth grow, he left me while I was out shearing my sheep. He ran off secretly, putting his wives and children on camels and taking all his flocks and possessions that he gained in my land. He set off to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. He didn't even let me kiss my daughters or grandchildren goodbye. He took my daughters away like captives of war, stole my gods, and fled. Now I've left him at the mountain by the brook of Jabbok, him and everything he owns. He's lacking nothing. If you want to go to him, then go. You'll find him there and can do whatever you want with him.
Laban's messengers told Esau everything. When Esau heard Laban's messengers, his anger burned fiercely against Jacob. He remembered his hatred for him and was consumed with rage. Esau quickly gathered his children, servants, and household, 60 people in total, and joined forces with the children of Seir the Horite and their men, numbering 340. Altogether, he had 400 armed men ready for battle, and he set out to attack Jacob. Esau divided his forces into groups. The 60 members of his family and household he placed under the command of Eliphaz, his eldest son. The rest were divided among the 6 sons of Seir the Horite, each man leading his own family and descendants. The entire camp moved forward with Esau leading them swiftly toward Jacob. After leaving Esau, Laban's messengers went to the land of Canaan and came to Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. They told her,
"Look, your son Esau is marching against Jacob with 400 men. He heard Jacob was coming and is going to attack him and take everything he owns."
Rebekah quickly sent 72 of Isaac's servants to meet Jacob on the road. She said,
"Perhaps Esau will attack him when they meet."
These messengers went out and found Jacob near the brook, on the opposite side of the Jabbok. When Jacob saw them, he said,
"This camp is a sign from God."
And he named the place Mahanaim. Recognizing them as his father's people, Jacob embraced and kissed them. Then he asked about his father and mother, and they told him,
"They are well."
The messenger said,
"Your mother Rebekah sent us to you with this message. My son, I've heard that your brother Esau is on the way to meet you with men from the children of Seir the Horite. So listen to me. Think carefully about what to do. When he comes, speak kindly to him. Offer him a gift from what you have and from what God has given you. If he asks you about your situation, don't hide anything. Maybe he'll calm down and you'll save yourself and everything you have. You must honor him because he's your older brother."
When Jacob heard his mother's message, he wept bitterly and followed her instructions. Jacob continued on his way, and the angels of God met him. When he saw them, he said,
"This is God's army."
And he named that place Mahanaim. At that time, Jacob sent messengers to his brother Esau in the land of Seir with a humble message. He instructed them,
"Say this to my lord Esau. This is what your servant Jacob says. Don't think that the blessing our father gave me has made me fortunate. I've spent these last 20 years with Laban, who tricked me and changed my wages 10 times, as you've already heard. I served him faithfully, and God saw my hardship and the work of my hands. Because of that, he made me find favor in Laban's eyes. With God's kindness, I've acquired oxen, donkeys, livestock, male and female servants. Now I'm returning home to my land, to my father and mother in Canaan. I sent this message to you so you'd know I'm coming, not to boast of wealth, nor to suggest the blessing made me rich, but just to find favor in your eyes."
Jacob's messengers found Esau at the border of Edom, coming toward Jacob with 400 men from Seir the Horite, all armed. They told Esau everything Jacob had said. Esau responded with pride and scorn, saying,
"Yes, I've heard what Jacob did to Laban, how Laban elevated him, gave him his daughters, and how Jacob gained sons, daughters, and great wealth through Laban's generosity. Then, seeing how rich he was, he fled with everything, taking Laban's daughters away like captives without even informing their father. But Jacob didn't just do this to Laban, he did it to me, too. He's deceived me twice. Should I stay silent? No! That's why I've come today with my army. I'll deal with him as I see fit."
The messengers returned to Jacob and said,
"We met your brother Esau and delivered your message. This is how he replied, and he's now on his way to meet you with 400 men. You need to decide what to do and pray to God for deliverance."
Jacob was terrified and deeply troubled. He divided the people with him, along with the flocks, herds, and camels, into 2 groups. He said,
"If Esau attacks one group and destroys it, the other group can escape."
Jacob prayed to the Lord, saying,
"O Lord, God of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, you told me when I left home, I am the God of your father Abraham and Isaac. I will give this land to you and your descendants. I will make your descendants like the stars in the sky, spread them to all four corners of the earth. And through you and your descendants all families of the earth will be blessed. You kept your word. You gave me wealth, children, and cattle, everything I ever hoped for. You answered my every request. Then you told me, return to your family and birthplace, and I will bless you. I'm not worthy of your kindness and truth. When I crossed this Jordan, I had nothing but my staff. Now I have 2 entire camps. You saved me from Laban, but now Esau will kill me, along with the mothers of my children. So, Lord, please deliver me from my brother Esau. I'm terrified of him. You promised, I will bless you and make your descendants as countless as the sand on the seashore. Even if I don't deserve it, do it for the sake of Abraham and Isaac. I know I have this wealth because of your mercy. Please deliver me now and answer my prayer.
When Jacob finished praying, he split the people, flocks, and cattle into 2 camps. One camp he put under Damesek, son of Eliezer, Abraham's servant, along with his children. The other he gave to Elianas, Damesek's brother, also with his children. He instructed them,
keep a good distance between the camps. If Esau attacks one, the other can escape.
Jacob stayed there that night and gave his servants detailed instructions throughout the night about their positions and his children. The Lord heard Jacob's prayer that day and delivered him from his brother Esau. He sent 3 angels from heaven who went ahead of Esau and appeared to him. To Esau and his men, the angels looked like 2,000 warriors on horseback, fully armed for battle. They seemed to be divided into 4 camps, each with its own leader. One of the camps approached first and encountered Esau as he was coming with 400 men to meet Jacob. This camp rushed at Esau and his men, terrifying them. Esau was so startled that he fell off his horse, and his men scattered from him in fear. As they fled, the entire camp shouted after them, and the armed men called out,
We are the servants of Jacob, who is the servant of God. Who can stand against us?
Esau replied,
Oh, then my lord and brother Jacob is your master. I haven't seen him for 20 years, and now that I've come today to meet him, is this how you treat me?
The angels answered,
As the Lord lives, if Jacob weren't your brother, we wouldn't have left a single one of you or your men alive. But because of Jacob, we won't harm you.
That camp moved on, and Esau and his men continued on about a league before the second camp appeared, also armed with weapons. They treated Esau and his men the same way the first camp had. When they left, the third camp approached, and again Esau and his men were terrified. Esau fell off his horse again, and the whole camp shouted,
We are the servants of Jacob, who is the servant of God. Who can stand against us?
Esau responded,
Oh, then, Jacob, my lord and your lord, is my brother. I haven't seen him in 20 years. When I heard today that he was coming, I went to meet him. Why are you treating me like this?
They answered him,
As the Lord lives, if Jacob weren't your brother, we wouldn't have left a remnant of you or your men. Because of Jacob, we won't interfere with you.
The third camp passed on as well, and Esau kept moving toward Jacob. Then the fourth camp came and treated him the same way as the others had. After witnessing everything the 4 angelic camps had done to him and his men, Esau was filled with fear toward his brother Jacob. He went to meet Jacob peacefully, hiding his hatred because he feared for his life. He believed that the 4 camps he had encountered were Jacob's servants. That night, Jacob stayed in the camp with his servants and decided to send Esau a gift from all he owned. The next morning, he and his men selected a gift for his brother from his flocks. This is what Jacob chose: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 foals. He divided them into 10 herds and grouped each type of animal separately. He gave each herd to one of 10 servants and instructed them,
Keep some distance between each group. When Esau and the men with him meet you and ask, Who do you belong to? Where are you going? Who owns all these animals ahead of you? Say, We are Jacob's servants. We're coming to meet Esau in peace, and Jacob is following behind us. This is a gift from Jacob to his brother Esau.
He gave the same instructions to the second, third, and all the other groups.
This is how you should speak to Esau when you find him. And if they ask, Why is he behind you instead of coming to meet his brother? Then say, he is joyfully following us to meet his brother. He said, I'll calm him with this gift going ahead of me. Afterward, I'll see his face. Maybe he'll accept me.
So the gift went on ahead of Jacob, and he spent the night in the camp. During the night, he got up, took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He brought them across the stream along with everything he had. Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw he couldn't overpower Jacob, he touched Jacob's hip socket, and it was dislocated as they wrestled. The man said,
Let me go, for the day is breaking.
But Jacob replied,
I won't let you go unless you bless me.
The man asked,
What's your name?
Jacob,
he answered. Then the man said,
Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel. You have struggled with God and with men, and have prevailed.
Jacob asked,
Please tell me your name.
But the man replied,
Why do you ask my name?
And he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, saying,
I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been spared.
At daybreak, the man left Jacob at Peniel, blessed him, and went away. Jacob crossed the brook limping because of his hip. As the sun rose, he continued on to rejoin his family and herds. To this day, the Israelites don't eat the tendon attached to the hip socket because it was touched when Jacob wrestled and his hip was injured. They continued traveling until midday, and as they went, the gift moved ahead of them. Jacob looked up and saw Esau approaching from a distance with about 400 men, and he was terrified. He quickly divided his children among Leah, Rachel, and his 2 female servants. He placed his daughter Dinah in a chest and handed her over to his servants. He arranged the group with the servants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind them, and Rachel with Joseph at the rear. Jacob went ahead of them all to meet Esau. As he approached, he bowed to the ground 7 times. God caused Esau and his men to view Jacob with grace and favor because he had heard Jacob's prayer. Fear and awe of Jacob came over Esau, and his anger turned into kindness. Esau was deeply afraid of Jacob because of what God's angels had done to him. When Esau saw Jacob running toward him, he also ran to meet him. He hugged him, threw his arms around his neck, and they both kissed and wept. God placed fear and kindness toward Jacob in the hearts of the men who came with Esau, and they too embraced Jacob and kissed him. Even Eliphaz, Esau's son, along with his 4 brothers, wept with Jacob, kissed him, and embraced him, because the fear of Jacob had come upon them all. Esau looked up and saw the women and children walking behind Jacob, bowing along the road toward him. Esau asked,
Who are these with you, my brother? Are they your children or your servants?
Jacob answered,
They are my children, whom God has graciously given to your servant.
Then the handmaidens approached with their children and bowed. Leah and her children also came forward and bowed. After them came Joseph and Rachel, and they bowed as well. While Jacob was still talking with Esau and his men, Esau looked at the entire camp and said,
Where did you get all of the camp that I encountered last night?
Jacob replied,
To find favor in the eyes of my Lord. It is what God has graciously given to your servant.
When the present arrived in front of Esau, Jacob urged him, saying,
Please accept the gift I have brought to you, my lord.
But Esau responded,
Why do this? Keep what you have for yourself.
Jacob insisted,
It's necessary for me to give this to you, because I have seen your face and you are still alive and at peace.
Esau still refused the gift, but Jacob pleaded,
Please, my lord, if I found favor in your eyes, accept this gift from me. Seeing your face is like seeing a godlike face, because you were pleased with me. Take this blessing that's been brought to you, because God has been good to me, and I have enough.
Jacob continued pressing him until Esau finally accepted the gift. Jacob also gave him silver, gold, and bdellium. Esau eventually took them because Jacob insisted. Esau then divided the cattle from the camp, giving half to the men who had come with him, since they were hired, and he gave the other half to his children. Esau gave the silver, gold, and bdellium to Eliphaz, his oldest son. Then Esau said to Jacob,
Let us stay with you and travel slowly together until we reach my home. so we can live there.
Jacob replied,
I would do as my Lord suggests, but you know the children are still young, and the flocks and herds with their young can only move slowly. We rushed, they would all die. You know how heavy their burdens are and how tired they are. So please, let my Lord go on ahead of his servant, and I will follow slowly for the sake of the children and the flocks, until I reach your place in Seir.
Esau then said,
Let me leave some of my people with you to help along the way and ease your burden.
But Jacob replied,
There's no need, my Lord. If I've found favor in your eyes, I will come to you in Seir as you said. Please go on ahead with your people, and I will follow.
Jacob said this to remove Esau and his men from him, so he could go on to his father's house in Canaan. Esau listened to Jacob and returned to Seir with his 400 men. Jacob and everyone with him traveled that same day to the edge of the land of Canaan and stayed there for a while. He crossed the Jabbok in the 9th month, on the 11th day. On that same day, Esau came to him and was reconciled, then departed for the land of Seir. But Jacob stayed in tents. In the first year of the 5th week of this Jubilee, Jacob crossed the Jordan and settled on the other side. He grazed his sheep from the Sea of the Heap to Bethshan, to Dothan, and to the forest of Akrabim. He sent his father Isaac supplies from his wealth, clothing, food, meat, drink, milk, butter, cheese, and some dates from the valley. He also sent gifts to his mother Rebekah 4 times a year, during the transitions between the months, between plowing and harvesting, between autumn and the rainy season, and between winter and spring, sending them to the Tower of Abraham. Jacob regularly sent everything his parents needed, and they blessed him with all their heart and soul. Jacob built himself a house and pitched his tent there. He also made shelters for his cattle, which is why the place was called Succoth. He stayed in Succoth for 18 months. In the first year of the 6th week, in the 4th month, Jacob left the border of the land and came to Shalem, the city of Shechem in the land of Canaan. He pitched his tent and rested outside the city. He bought a piece of the field where he had set up his tent from the sons of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of silver, 5 shekels. There he built an altar and named it El-Elohe-Israel. Jacob Saga, Solidarity Arc, Chapter 57, Retaliation. At that time, some of the women from the surrounding land went to the city of Shechem to dance and celebrate with the daughters of the city. When they went out, Rachel and Leah, the wives of Jacob, also went with their families to watch the celebration of the city's daughters. Dinah, Jacob's daughter, went along with them and observed the daughters of the city. They stayed there in front of these young women while all the people of the city stood nearby to watch the celebration, and all the important people of the city were present. Shechem, the son of Hamor and prince of the land, was also there watching. He noticed Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, sitting with her mother among the daughters of the city, and he was very pleased by her. He asked his friends and the people around him,
Whose daughter is that sitting among the women? I don't recognize her from this city.
They replied,
Surely this is the daughter of Jacob, the son of Isaac the Hebrew, who has lived in this city for a while. When it was announced that the daughters of the land were going out to celebrate, she went with her mother and her maidservants to sit among them, just as you see.
Shechem continued to watch Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and the more he looked at her, the more his soul became attached to her. And there they took Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, by force into the house of Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, the prince of the land. He slept with her and defiled her. She was a little girl of 12 years old. His soul became attached to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young woman and spoke kindly to her. Then Shechem said to his father Hamor,
Get me this girl to be my wife.
They came and told Jacob what had happened, and when he heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter Dinah, he sent 12 of his servants to bring her back from Shechem's house. The servants went and arrived at Shechem's house to take Dinah away. But when they got there, Shechem came out with his men and drove them away from the house. He refused to let them see Dinah. Instead, Shechem was sitting with Dinah, kissing and embracing her right in front of them. Jacob's servants returned and told him,
When we came, he and his men drove us away, and this is what Shechem did to Dinah in our sight.
Jacob now knew that Shechem had defiled his daughter, but he didn't say anything. His sons were out in the field tending the livestock, and Jacob stayed silent until they returned. Before his sons came back, Jacob sent 2 maidens, daughters of his servants, to care for Dinah in Shechem's house and to stay with her there. Shechem sent 3 of his friends to his father Hamor, the son of Chiddekem, son of Pered, with a message.
Get me this girl as a wife.
Hamor, the son of Chiddekem the Hivite, came to Shechem's house and sat down with him. He said,
Isn't there a woman among your own people you could marry? That you would take a Hebrew woman who doesn't belong to us.
But Shechem said,
You must get her for me. She's the only one I want. She pleases me.
Hamor did as his son asked, because he loved him deeply. Hamor went to speak with Jacob about the matter. But before he reached Jacob, Jacob's sons came in from the field, having heard what Shechem, son of Hamor, had done. They were deeply grieved about their sister, and came home burning with anger, because Shechem had committed such a disgrace in Israel by sleeping with Jacob's daughter, a thing that should never have been done, before they even had a chance to gather the cattle. They sat down before their father and full of fury said,
This man and his household deserve to die. The Lord God of the whole earth commanded Noah and his children that no one should steal or commit adultery. And now look, Shechem has both violated and defiled our sister. Not one person in that whole city said a word to stop him. You know this as well as we do. Shechem, his father, and the whole city are under judgment for what he's done.
While they were still speaking to their father, Hamor, Shechem's father, arrived to talk to Jacob about his son's request for Dinah. He sat down in front of Jacob and his sons. Hamor said to them,
My son Shechem's heart longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife. Let's intermarry. Give us your daughters and take ours in return. You can live with us in our land. We'll be one people. The land is large and open to you. Live in it. Trade. Acquire property and do whatever you wish. No one will stop you or say a word against you.
After Hamor finished speaking, Shechem arrived and sat down with them. He said to Jacob and his sons,
Let me find favor in your eyes. Give me your daughter. Whatever you ask for as a dowry or gift, I'll pay it. I'll do whatever you say. If anyone refuses to obey your command, he'll die. Just give me the girl as a wife.
Simeon and Levi answered Shechem and his father deceitfully, saying,
Everything you've said, we'll do it.
Our sister is in your house, but don't go near her until we've sent word to our father Isaac about this. We can't make a decision without his approval.
He knows the ways of our forefather Abraham. Whatever he tells us, we'll let you know. We won't hide anything from you.
Simeon and Levi said this just to stall for time and figure out what to do to Shechem and his city. Shechem and his father liked what Simeon and Levi said, and they left to go back home. After they were gone, the sons of Jacob spoke to their father, saying,
We know these wicked men in their city deserved death. They broke the command God gave to Noah, his children, and all their descendants. And Shechem defiled our sister Dinah. This kind of depravity must never be allowed among us. So now, think carefully about what you will do. Look for a plan and a reason that will allow us to destroy every man in that city.
Then Simeon said,
Here's an idea. Tell them that every male must be circumcised like we are. If they refuse, we'll take our daughter and leave. But if they agree and go through with it, then while they're in pain and recovering, we'll surprise them with our swords while they're defenseless and kill every man.
The brothers agreed this was a good plan, and Simeon and Levi decided to carry it out. The next morning, Shechem and his father Hamor returned to Jacob and his sons to continue discussing Dinah and hear their response. The sons of Jacob spoke deceitfully to them and said,
We told our father Isaac everything you said, and he approved. But we can't give our sister to an uncircumcised man. That's a disgrace to us. Isaac told us, This is what Abraham was commanded by God, Lord of the whole earth. Any man who isn't from his descendants, but wants to marry one of his daughters, must have all the males in his house circumcised. Only then can we give our daughter to you. If you do this, we'll exchange daughters, live among you, and become one people. We're being honest. We're telling you exactly what our father told us. We can't give our daughter to an uncircumcised man. That would shame us. But if you agree to be like us and circumcise every male, we'll live together as one people. If not, we'll come, take our daughter, and leave.
Shechem and his father Hamor listened to the sons of Jacob and were very pleased. They hurried to fulfill their wishes because Shechem was deeply attached to Dinah. He was the most respected of his father's household. Shechem and Hamor hurried to the city gate and gathered all the men. They explained what the sons of Jacob had said.
We spoke to them about their daughter, and they agreed to our request. Our land is big enough for them, and they'll live with us, do business, and become one people with us. We'll exchange daughters in marriage. But they'll only agree if every male among us is circumcised like they are, as their God commanded. Once we do this, they'll live among us, and we'll be united. They'll bring their livestock and property, and we'll be one people.
When the men of the city heard this, they agreed. Shechem and Hamor were highly respected as the city's leaders. The next day, early in the morning, Shechem and Hamor gathered all the men in the city center. They called for the sons of Jacob, who then circumcised every male that day and the next. They circumcised Shechem, Hamor, his 5 brothers, and then all the others. Everyone went home afterward. This was from the Lord. He had determined to bring judgment against Shechem's city. Simeon's counsel came from the Lord, so that he might deliver the city into the hands of Jacob's 2 sons. Altogether, 645 men and 246 children were circumcised. But Shittim, the son of Pered and father of Hamor, along with his 6 brothers, refused to listen to Shechem and his father Hamor, and they would not agree to be circumcised. The proposal made by Jacob's sons was disgusting to them, and it made them extremely angry that the people of the city had agreed to it. On the evening of the second day, they discovered 8 young children who hadn't been circumcised, because their mothers had hidden them from Shechem, Hamor, and the men of the city. Shechem and Hamor sent for the children to be brought to them for circumcision, but Shittim and his 6 brothers attacked them with swords, intending to kill them. They also tried to kill Shechem, Hamor, and Dinah over the matter. They said to them,
"What is this thing you have done? Aren't there women among your Canaanite relatives that you have to take daughters of the Hebrews, people you didn't even know before, and do something our fathers never told us to do? Do you really think this plan of yours is going to work? What are you going to say tomorrow when our Canaanite brothers come asking about this? If they don't think your actions were right, how will you protect yourselves or us for not listening to us? And when the people of the land and all your brothers, the children of Ham, hear what happened and say, because of a Hebrew woman, Shechem and Hamor and all their people did something completely foreign to them, something their ancestors never told them to do, where will you go? How will you hide your shame from your Canaanite brothers for the rest of your lives?"
When Hamor, Shechem, and all the city's people heard what Shittim and his brothers had said, they were terrified for their lives and regretted what they had done. Shechem and Hamor responded to Shittim and his brothers, saying,
"Everything you said is true. Don't think for a second that we did this out of love for the Hebrews, or because we wanted to do something our ancestors never taught us. We get it because we realized the only way to get their daughter was to agree to this condition. That's the only reason we went through with it. Once we've gotten what we wanted from them, we'll go back and do exactly what you said. Just wait until we've healed and regained our strength. Then we'll go together and carry out what's in both your hearts and ours."
Dinah, daughter of Jacob, overheard everything Shittim and his brothers said, as well as how Hamor, Shechem, and the people responded. She quickly sent one of the maidens, assigned by her father to care for her in Shechem's house, to Jacob and her brothers with the message,
"This is what Shittim and his brothers said about you, and this is how Hamor, Shechem, and the people of the city responded."
When Jacob heard the news, he was furious and deeply offended, and his anger burned within him. Simeon and Levi swore, saying,
"As the Lord lives, the God of the whole earth, by this time tomorrow, there won't be a single man left in that city."
20 young, uncircumcised men had been hiding and listening. They tried to fight Simeon and Levi, but Simeon and Levi killed 18 of them. 2 of the young men escaped to lime pits in the city. Simeon and Levi searched for them, but couldn't find them. On the third day, when the men were still in pain, Simeon and Levi launched a surprise attack on Shechem. They executed judgment on all the men in the city, killing everyone they found. Not a single man was left alive. They were all slain in agony because they had dishonored their sister Dinah. From now on, this must never happen again. A daughter of Israel must not be defiled. Judgment has been set in heaven against the Shechemites, and they were to be destroyed by the sword for bringing shame on Israel. The Lord gave them into the hands of Jacob's sons so they could carry out judgment, and make sure this never happened again to an Israelite virgin. If any man in Israel gives his daughter or sister to a Gentile, he will surely die and be stoned, because he has disgraced Israel. The woman will be burned with fire for bringing dishonor on her father's house, and she will be completely cut off from Israel. Adultery and impurity must never be allowed in Israel throughout all generations. Israel belongs to the Lord, and any man who defiles it will die and be stoned. This command is written in the heavenly tablets for all Israel's descendants. Anyone who defiles Israel must die. There is no time limit on this law, no forgiveness or atonement. A man who defiles his daughter will be cut off from Israel because he's offered his seed to Moloch and defiled it in wickedness. Moses, command the children of Israel and warn them not to give their daughters to Gentiles or take Gentile daughters for their sons. This is detestable to the Lord. That's why I've written down for you in the law everything the Shechemites did to Dinah, and how Jacob's sons responded by saying, "We won't give our daughter to an uncircumcised man, for that would be a disgrace to us." It is a disgrace to all Israel, both to those who live and to those who marry Gentile daughters, because it is impure and detestable. Israel can't be purified from this defilement if it takes Gentile wives or gives daughters to Gentiles. Plagues and curses will fall on them. Every judgment, plague, and curse will come if anyone does this, or ignores those who commit impurity, or defile the Lord's sanctuary, or profane his holy name. The entire nation will be judged for the uncleanness and desecration of such a person. God will not show favoritism or accept offerings, sacrifices, or even fragrant incense from them. Every man or woman in Israel who defiles the sanctuary will be judged this way. That's why I command you to deliver this testimony to Israel. Look at what happened to the Shechemites and their sons. They were handed over to just 2 of Jacob's sons and were killed in agony. It was counted as righteousness for them and is written in their favor. Levi's descendants were chosen for the priesthood to serve the Lord continually, and Levi and his sons are blessed forever because he was zealous to carry out justice, vengeance, and righteousness for Israel. A testimony was written in his favor in the heavenly tablets, blessing and righteousness before God. Levi's righteousness is remembered in heaven for all time, recorded for 1,000 generations, and his name is written in the heavenly tablets as a friend and righteous man. I've written all of this for you and commanded you to teach it to the children of Israel, so they won't sin or break the covenant, but keep it and be counted as friends. If they break it and commit impurity in every way, they'll be written in the heavenly tablets as enemies. They'll be erased from the book of life and added to the book of destruction, to be cut off from the earth. When Jacob's sons killed Shechem, a record was made in heaven saying they had executed righteousness, justice, and vengeance against sinners. It was written down as a blessing. A great panic broke out in the city. The cries of the people rose up to heaven, and all the women and children screamed. Simeon and Levi killed everyone. They didn't leave a single male alive in the whole city. They killed Hamer and his son Shechem with the sword, and they brought Dinah, their sister, out of Shechem's house and left the place. The sons of Jacob returned, came upon the dead, and took everything from the city and fields because their sister had been defiled. While they were looting the city, 300 men attacked them with dust and stones. Simeon turned on them and killed all of them with the sword. Then he returned ahead of Levi and went back into the city. They took the sheep, oxen, donkeys, everything in the city and the fields. They captured all the people's wealth, their children and their wives, everything in the houses. Then they opened a gate and left, returning to their father Jacob in strength. When Jacob saw what they had done to the city and all the spoil they had taken, he was furious. He said,
"What have you done to me? I have peace among the Canaanites, and no one bothered me. Now you lay me hated by the Canaanites and the Perizzites. I'm only a small group. When they hear what you did to their brothers, they'll come and destroy me and my whole household."
Simeon, Levi, and the rest of the brothers answered,
"We live in this land, and Shechem dared to do that to our sister? Why are you silent about what Shechem did? Should he treat our sister like a prostitute?"
Simeon and Levi had taken 85 women from Shechem who had never been with a man and didn't kill them. Among them was a beautiful young woman named Bunah, and Simeon took her as a wife. They also captured 47 males and killed the rest. All the young men and women Simeon and Levi had captured from Shechem became servants to Jacob's sons and their children, remaining that way until Jacob's descendants left Egypt. Jacob Saga, Solidarity Arc, Chapter 58, Council of Peace. All the young men and women that Simeon and Levi had taken captive from the city of Shechem became servants to the sons of Jacob and to their descendants after them, until the day when the sons of Jacob left the land of Egypt. Word reached Jashub, king of Tapnach, and he sent men to Shechem to see these young captives for himself, because he didn't believe the story. He said,
"How could 2 men destroy such a large city as Shechem?"
The messengers returned to Jashub and reported,
"We went to the city, and it's completely destroyed. There's not a single man left, only weeping women. There are no flocks or cattle either, because everything in the city was taken by the sons of Jacob."
Jashub was shocked and said,
"How could 2 men do this to destroy such a large city? And not one person was able to resist them. Nothing like this has happened since the days of Nimrod, not even in the most ancient times."
Then Jashub said to his people,
"Be strong, and let's go fight these Hebrews. We'll do to them what they did to the city, and avenge those who live there."
Jashub consulted with his counselors about the matter. His advisors said,
"You won't be able to defeat the Hebrews by yourself. They must be incredibly strong to have done this to an entire city. If just 2 of them destroyed it, and no one could stop them, then if you go alone, they'll all rise up and destroy us too. But if you send word to all the kings around us and gather them together, we can go with them and fight the sons of Jacob. Then you'll have a better chance of defeating them."
Jashub listened to his counselors, and both he and his people were pleased with the advice. So Jashub, king of Tapnach, sent messages to all the Amorite kings surrounding Shechem and Tapnach, saying,
"Come with me and help me, and we'll strike Jacob the Hebrew and all his sons, and wipe them off the earth, because of what they did to the city of Shechem. Don't you already know about it?"
All the Amorite kings heard about the terrible thing the sons of Jacob had done to Shechem, and they were shocked. The 7 kings of the Amorites gathered their armies, about 10,000 men with drawn swords, and came to fight the sons of Jacob. When Jacob heard that the Amorite kings had assembled to attack his sons, he was extremely afraid and deeply distressed. Jacob scolded Simeon and Levi, saying,
"What have you done? Why did you harm me like this, bringing all the people of Canaan against me to destroy me and my household? I was living in peace with my family, and now you've stirred up the people, the land against us with your actions?"
Judah responded to his father,
"Was it for nothing that Simeon and Levi killed all the people of Shechem? Of course not. It was because Shechem violated our sister and broke God's command to Noah and his children. Shechem took our sister by force and committed adultery with her. No one in the city tried to stop him or said, 'Why are you doing this?' That's why my brothers attacked the city, and the Lord delivered it into their hands, because the people had broken God's commands. So was it meaningless? And now, why are you afraid or upset, and why are you angry with my brothers? Surely our God, who handed over the city of Shechem and its people, will also hand over all the Canaanite kings who are coming against us. We'll deal with them just as my brothers did with Shechem. So calm down and don't be afraid. Trust in the Lord our God and pray for his help and deliverance, and that he'll hand over our enemies to us."
Then Judah called one of his father's servants and said,
"Go and find out where the kings who are coming against us are camped with their armies."
The servant went, looked from a distance, and climbed opposite Mount Sion. He saw all the kings' camps spread out in the fields. He came back and told Judah,
"The kings are camped in the fields with their armies. Their numbers are huge, like the sand on the seashore."
Judah said to Simeon, Levi, and the rest of his brothers,
"Strengthen yourselves and be brave, because the Lord our God is with us. Don't be afraid. Each of you, take up your weapons, your bows and swords, and let's go fight these uncircumcised men."
The Lord is our God. He will save us.
So they got up, each one arming himself for war. All 11 sons of Jacob and all Jacob's servants joined them. The servants of Isaac, who were with Isaac in Hebron, also joined them, fully armed with all kinds of weapons. Altogether, Jacob's sons and their servants, 112 men, set out to face the kings, and Jacob went with them. Jacob's sons sent word to their grandfather Isaac, the son of Abraham, in Hebron, also called Kiriath Arba, saying,
Please pray to the Lord our God on our behalf, that you protect us from the Canaanites who are coming against us, and deliver them into our hands.
Isaac prayed to the Lord for his sons, saying,
O Lord God, you promised my father, saying, I will multiply your descendants like the stars of the sky. And you also promised me, and kept your word. Now the kings of Canaan are uniting to wage war against my children, even though they've done no wrong. So now, O Lord God, ruler of all the earth, confuse the plans of these kings so they won't attack my sons. Fill their hearts and the hearts of their people with fear of my sons. Bring down their pride and make them turn away. With your mighty hand and outstretched arm, rescue my sons and their servants, because all power and strength are in your hands to do this.
The sons of Jacob and their servants advanced toward the kings, putting their trust in the Lord their God. While they were on the way, Jacob also prayed to the Lord, saying,
O Lord God, powerful and exalted ruler, who has reigned from ancient times until now and forever. You stir up wars and make them cease. Power and might are in your hands to lift up and bring down. May my prayer be pleasing to you. Turn toward me with your mercy. Fill the hearts of these kings and their people with fear of my sons. Terrify them and their camps. In your great kindness, deliver all who trust in you, because only you can bring nations under us and place people beneath our feet.
All the kings of the Amorites gathered in the field to consult their advisers about what to do regarding the sons of Jacob. They were still afraid, saying,
Look, 2 of them destroyed the entire city of Shechem.
The Lord heard the prayers of Isaac and Jacob, and he filled the hearts of all the king's advisers with great fear. They all exclaimed,
Have you lost your minds today? Do you not understand that if you fight the Hebrews, you're asking for your own destruction? Look, 2 of them entered Shechem without fear and killed everyone, and no one stood up to them. How do you expect to fight all of them? Don't you know their God loves them and has done incredible things for them, things no other God has ever done? He saved their forefather Abraham from Nimrod, who tried many times to kill him. He even saved him from the fire Nimrod threw him into. Who else could do that? It was Abraham who defeated the 5 kings of Elam when they attacked his nephew living in Sodom. With just one faithful servant and a few men, he chased those kings and killed them in one night, getting back all the property they had stolen. You know their God loves them, and they love him too. Abraham was even willing to offer up his only beloved son to God as a burnt offering, and he would have if God hadn't stopped him. Because of that, God swore to protect his descendants from any trouble. Haven't you heard what God did to Pharaoh in Egypt and Abimelech in Gerar when they tried to take Abraham's wife, who he claimed was his sister, so they wouldn't kill him? God punished them and their people. We saw with our own eyes that Esau, Jacob's brother, came with 400 men planning to kill him because Jacob took their father's blessing. He intended to wipe out Jacob's entire family, but who saved him? His God. That same God delivered Jacob from Esau and from all his enemies. You must realize their God gave them strength to do what they did to Shechem. Do you really think 2 men could destroy such a large city without divine help? Their God made it happen. Now you plan to fight them with your entire cities against theirs. Even if you had 1,000 times more men, you still couldn't win. You're not just fighting people, you're fighting their God who chose them. You've come here today only to be destroyed. So stop this madness now. It's better not to fight them, even though they are few, because their God is with them.
When the Amorite kings heard everything their advisors said, their hearts were filled with fear, and they didn't dare fight the sons of Jacob. They listened closely and were pleased with the advice, so they acted on it. The kings turned back and stayed away from Jacob's sons. They didn't even approach them for battle, because they were terrified, and their courage melted away. This all came from the Lord, because he heard the prayers of his servants Isaac and Jacob, who trusted in him. That day, all the kings returned with their armies to their cities and didn't attack the sons of Jacob. The sons of Jacob stayed camped opposite Mount Sihon until evening. When they saw the kings weren't coming to fight, they returned home. Jacob Saga, Solidarity Arc, Chapter 59, Foreshadowing. Then God said to Jacob,
"Get up, go to Bethel, settle there, and build an altar to God who delivered you and your sons from trouble and appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau."
On the new moon of that month, Jacob spoke to everyone in his household and said,
Purify yourselves, change your clothes, and get ready so we can go to Bethel. That's where I made a vow to him on the day I ran from Esau, my brother. God has been with me, brought me safely into this land, and now we need to get rid of the strange gods among us. I'll build an altar there to God, who answered me in my time of trouble and stayed with me on my journey.
They gave him all the strange gods, everything in their ears and around their necks, including the idols Rachel had stolen from her father Laban. She gave them all to Jacob. He burned them, broke them into pieces, destroyed them, and buried them under an oak tree in the land of Shechem. As they traveled, the fear of the Lord fell on all the cities around Shechem, so no one came after Jacob's sons. Terror had gripped them all. Jacob arrived in Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is, Bethel, along with everyone who was with him, just as the Lord had told him. He went up on the new moon of the 7th month at the age of 99. Jacob, his sons, and all the people with him stayed in Bethel, in Luz. There he built an altar to the Lord, who had appeared to him at that place where he had slept. He set up a pillar there and sent a message to his father Isaac, inviting him and his mother Rebekah to come to his sacrifice. He named the place El Bethel, because God had appeared to him when he fled from his brother. Jacob and his sons stayed in Bethel for 6 months. Isaac said,
"Let my son Jacob come, so I can see him before I die."
So Jacob went to visit his father Isaac and his mother Rebekah at the house of his father Abraham. He took 2 of his sons with him, Levi and Judah. When they arrived, Rebekah came out from the tower to greet him with a kiss and embrace, because her spirit was renewed when she heard,
Jacob, your son has come.
She kissed him, saw his 2 sons, and recognized them. She asked,
Are these your sons, my son?
She hugged and kissed them and blessed them, saying,
Through you, the descendants of Abraham will become renowned, and you will be a blessing on the earth.
Jacob then went in to see his father Isaac in the room where he was resting, with his 2 sons beside him. Jacob took Isaac's hand, bent down, and kissed him. Isaac wrapped his arms around Jacob's neck and wept. Suddenly the darkness left Isaac's eyes, and he saw Jacob's sons, Levi and Judah. He asked,
"Are these your sons, my son? They look like you."
Jacob confirmed,
Yes, you're seeing truly. They are my sons.
The boys came closer, and Isaac turned to kiss and embrace them both. Then the spirit of prophecy came over Isaac, and he took Levi by his right hand and Judah by his left. He turned first to Levi and began to bless him, saying,
"May the God of all, the eternal Lord, bless you and your children for all time. May the Lord grant you and your descendants greatness and glory, and draw you and your descendants close to him, to serve in his sanctuary like the angels of his presence and the holy ones. Your sons will be glorious, great, and holy for all generations. They will be judges, leaders, and chiefs among Jacob's descendants. They will speak the word of the Lord with righteousness and judge his laws with justice. They will teach Jacob his ways and Israel his paths. The Lord's blessing will be in their mouths, enabling them to bless all of the beloved's descendants. Your mother named you Levi, and rightly so. You will be joined to the Lord and be a companion to all the sons of Jacob. His table will be yours, and you and your sons will eat from it. May your table always be full, and may your food never fail through the ages. May all who hate you fall before you, and may your enemies be wiped out. Blessed is the one who blesses you, and cursed is every nation that curses you.
Then he turned to Judah and said,
May the Lord give you strength and power to overcome all who hate you. You will be a prince, you and one of your sons, over all the sons of Jacob. May your name and your sons' names travel through every land and region. The nations will fear you, and all peoples will tremble. In you will be the help of Jacob and the salvation of Israel. When you sit on your throne in righteousness, peace will reign for all the beloved's descendants. Blessed is the one who blesses you, and cursed and destroyed from the earth will be all who hate, oppress, or curse you.
Then Isaac kissed and embraced him again, rejoicing deeply because he had truly seen the sons of Jacob. Afterward, Isaac bowed his head and blessed them. He stayed with his father Isaac that night, and they ate and drank joyfully. Isaac had Jacob's 2 sons sleep beside him, one on his right and the other on his left. It was counted as righteousness for him. That night, Jacob told his father everything, how the Lord had shown him great mercy, helped him prosper in everything, and protected him from harm. Isaac blessed the God of his father Abraham, who had never stopped showing mercy and righteousness to the sons of his servant Isaac. In the morning, Jacob told his father Isaac about the vow he had made to the Lord, the vision he had seen, the altar he had built, and how everything was ready for the sacrifice. He also said he had come to set him on a donkey. Isaac said to Jacob,
I can't go with you, my son. I'm old and can't make the journey. Go in peace. I am 165 years old today and no longer able to travel. Put your mother on a donkey and let her go with you. I know you came here for me, and may this day be blessed because you've seen me alive, and I've seen you too. May you succeed and fulfill the vow you made. Don't delay in fulfilling it, because you'll be held accountable for that vow. Now hurry and do what you promised. And may the one who created everything, whom you vowed to, be pleased.
Then he said to Rebekah,
Go with Jacob your son.
Rebekah went with Jacob, and Deborah went with her. They arrived at Bethel. Jacob remembered the prayer with which his father had blessed him and his 2 sons, Levi and Judah, and he rejoiced and blessed the God of his fathers, Abraham and Isaac. He said,
Now I know that I have an eternal hope, and so do my sons before the God of all.
And so it was established concerning the 2, and it was recorded as an eternal testimony for them on the heavenly tablets, how Isaac had blessed them. Jacob Saga, Solidarity Arc, Chapter 60, Tithes. And he abode that night at Bethel, and Levi dreamed that they had ordained and made him the priest of the Most High God, him and his sons forever. And he awoke from his sleep and blessed the Lord. Early in the morning on the 14th of the month, Jacob got up and gave a tithe of everything he had brought with him, people, livestock, gold, every kind of vessel and garment. He gave a tithe of all. Around that time, Rachel became pregnant with her son Benjamin. Jacob counted his sons from himself upward, and Levi was chosen for the Lord's portion. So Jacob dressed him in the garments of the priesthood and consecrated him. On the 15th of the month, Jacob brought an offering to the altar: 14 oxen, 28 rams, 49 sheep, 7 lambs, and 21 young goats. This was a burnt offering on the altar, pleasing to God, and fulfilled the vow he had made to give a tenth. He also brought the required fruit and drink offerings. After the fire had consumed the offerings, he burned incense over the fire. For his thank offering, he brought 2 oxen, 4 rams, 4 sheep, 4 male goats, 2-year-old sheep, and 2 young goats. He continued doing this each day for 7 days. He, his sons, and his men ate joyfully during those 7 days, giving thanks and praise to the Lord who had delivered him from all his troubles and helped him fulfill his vow. He gave a tithe of all the clean animals and offered them as burnt sacrifices, but he didn't give the unclean animals to Levi. However, he gave Levi all the people that were with him. Levi served as priest at Bethel before Jacob, his father, instead of his 10 brothers. He was the priest there. Jacob fulfilled his vow by tithing again, sanctifying it, and making it holy to the Lord. Because of this, it's written on the heavenly tablets as a permanent law to give a tithe of the tithe and eat it before the Lord every year, in the place where his name is chosen to dwell. This law has no time limit. This command is written so that it's fulfilled yearly by eating the second tithe in the chosen place, and nothing from it should be kept until the following year. In that year, the grain must be eaten before the next harvest, the wine before the next vintage, and the oil before its season. Anything left over that becomes old is to be treated as unclean and burned, because it's no longer fit. All of it must be eaten together in the sanctuary and not allowed to spoil. All tithes of oxen and sheep are holy to the Lord and belong to his priests. They are to eat them before him from year to year, as this command is written and engraved on the heavenly tablets. On the night of the 22nd day of the month, Jacob made plans to build up that place, enclose the courtyard with a wall, and set it apart as holy forever, for himself and his descendants. On the night of the 23rd of the month, Deborah, the daughter of Uz and Rebekah's nurse, died. They buried her beneath the city, under the oak near the river. Jacob named the place the River of Deborah, and the oak was called Allon-Bachuth, or the Oak of the Mourning of Deborah. Rebekah returned to her home and to Isaac, Jacob's father. Jacob sent rams, sheep, and male goats with her so she could prepare a meal for his father, just the way he liked it. Jacob followed his mother until he reached the land of Cabratan, and he settled there. Jacob Saga, Solidarity Arc, Chapter 61. Addition. God appeared to Jacob again after he came out of Paddan Aram when he was 100 years old and blessed him. God said,
"Your name is Jacob, but you will no longer be called Jacob. Your name will be Israel."
So he called him Israel. Then he said again,
"I am the Lord Almighty, the one who created heaven and earth. Be fruitful and multiply. I will make you grow and increase greatly. Nations and kings will come from you, and your descendants will rule over every place the sons of men have walked. I will give your descendants all the land under heaven, and they will rule over the nations as they desire. After that, they will inherit the whole earth forever. The land I gave to Abraham and Isaac, I will give it to you and to your descendants after you."
When he finished speaking, he went up from Jacob, and Jacob watched until he had ascended into heaven. Around that same time, Rachel, Jacob's wife, became pregnant. Jacob set up a pillar of stone in the place where God had spoken to him. He poured a drink offering on it and also poured oil over it. He named the place where God spoke with him Bethel. That night, Jacob had a vision and saw an angel come down from heaven holding 7 tablets. The angel gave the tablets to Jacob, and he read them and understood everything written on them, everything that would happen to him and to his sons throughout all ages. The angel showed him all that was written on the tablets and said,
"Do not build on this place. Do not make it an eternal sanctuary, and do not settle here. This is not the place. Go to your father's house, the house of Abraham, and live with your father Isaac until his death. You will die peacefully in Egypt, and you will be buried with honor in this land, in the tomb of your ancestors, with Abraham and Isaac. Don't be afraid. Everything you've read and seen will happen just as it was shown to you. Write it all down exactly as you saw and read it."
Jacob asked,
"Lord, how can I remember everything I've read and seen?"
The angel replied,
"I will help you remember everything."
Then the angel went up from him, and Jacob woke up. He remembered everything he had seen and read, and he wrote down all the words. Jacob celebrated another day there, offering sacrifices just like he had on the previous days. He called this day Addition because it was added to the others, which he called the feast. It was revealed to him that this day should be celebrated and added to the 7 days of the feast, and it is written on the heavenly tablets. Its name was called Addition because it was recorded as one of the feast days, according to the number of days in the year. At that time, Jacob and all who were with him left Bethel to go to his father's house in Hebron. While they were on the road and still had a short distance to go to Ephrath, Rachel went into difficult labor. The midwife said to her,
"Don't be afraid. You will have this son too."
Rachel gave birth to a son during the night and named him Benoni, meaning son of my sorrow, because she suffered greatly during childbirth. But Jacob named him Benjamin, because he was born in the land on the right hand, on the 11th day of the 8th month, in the first year of the 6th week of that jubilee. Rachel died, and Jacob buried her on the way to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem. He set up a pillar over her grave right beside the road. That pillar still marks Rachel's grave to this day. Rachel lived for 45 years before she died. Jacob moved his camp and pitched his tent beyond the Tower of Adar, settling to the south of Magdaladreph. Then he went to visit his father Isaac, taking Leah, his wife, with him on the new moon of the 10th month. After Rachel's death, Jacob set up his tent in the tent that had belonged to her handmaid Bilhah. Jacob Saga, Solidarity Arc, Chapter 62, Uncovered. Reuben saw Bilhah, Rachel's maid and his father's concubine, bathing in a hidden place, and he became infatuated with her. That night, he secretly hid himself and went into Bilhah's house, where he found her asleep alone on her bed. After Israel had settled in the land beyond Migdal Eder, Reuben, out of jealousy for his mother Leah, became furious and slept with Bilhah, thereby violating his father's bed. She woke up and saw Reuben lying next to her. She pulled back the edge of her covering, grabbed him, and screamed when she realized it was Reuben. Ashamed because of what had happened, she let him go, and he fled. She grieved deeply over what had occurred but didn't tell anyone. When Jacob returned and sought her, she told him,
"I am not clean for you, for I have been defiled in relation to you. Reuben defiled me. He lay with me in the night while I was asleep. I didn't realize until he uncovered my skirt and slept with me."
Jacob was furious with Reuben for sleeping with Bilhah, as it meant he had uncovered his father's nakedness. After that, Jacob never approached Bilhah again because she had been defiled by Reuben. Any man who uncovers his father's skirt commits a deeply wicked act and is detestable before the Lord. This is why it's written and commanded on the heavenly tablets that no man should sleep with his father's wife or uncover his father's skirt. It is unclean, and they must both be put to death, the man who lies with her and the woman, for they have brought impurity into the world. There must be nothing unclean among the people that God has chosen as his own possession. And again, it is written, "Cursed is he who lies with his father's wife, for he has uncovered his father's shame." And all the holy ones of the Lord responded, "So be it, so be it. And you, Moses, must command the children of Israel to keep this law, because it carries the punishment of death. It is unclean, and there is no forgiveness, ever, for anyone who commits this sin. He must be put to death, stoned, and removed from among the people of God. No one in Israel who does such a thing is allowed to live even a single day because he is detestable and unclean. And they must not say, Reuben was allowed to live and was forgiven after he slept with his father's concubine, and she was forgiven too, even though she had a husband and Jacob, her husband, was still alive. Because at that time, the full law, judgment, and commandment had not yet been revealed to everyone. But in your days it has been revealed as a law of appointed times and seasons, an everlasting law for all future generations. There will be no end to the enforcement of this law, and no atonement for it. Both must be cut off from among the people on the same day they commit the act. They must be executed. So you, Moses, must write this law down for Israel so they can follow it and avoid committing a sin that leads to death. The Lord our God is a just judge. He does not show favoritism and does not accept bribes. Tell them these words of the covenant so they may hear, obey, and be careful to avoid destruction and being removed from the land. For anyone who does such things is unclean, detestable, corrupt, and defiled in the eyes of our God. There is no greater sin than this type of fornication committed on earth. Israel is a holy nation, chosen by the Lord, his inheritance, a priestly and royal people for his own possession. Such impurity must never be found among the holy nation. Because Reuben had defiled his father's bed, the birthright along with the kingly and priestly roles were taken from the sons of Reuben. The birthright was given to Joseph, the kingship to Judah, and the priesthood to Levi. These are the children born to Jacob in Paddan Aram. He had 12 sons. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob, born to him in Paddan Aram. In the 3rd year of the 6th week, Jacob, his sons, and everyone with him traveled to Mamre, which is Kiriath Arba, in Hebron, the place where Abraham and Isaac had stayed. Jacob and all with him settled there with Isaac and Rebekah. When they arrived, they bowed before Isaac and Rebekah. Upon seeing them, Isaac and Rebekah blessed Jacob and all his sons. Isaac was overjoyed to see Jacob's children, and he blessed them. Esau, his sons, and everyone with him went to the land of Seir and settled there. They acquired possessions in Seir and multiplied greatly. The children of Esau became very numerous in the land of Seir the Horite. Meanwhile, Jacob, his children, and all who were with them stayed with Isaac in the land of Canaan, just as the Lord had commanded their father Abraham. The sons of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Timnah was Eliphaz's concubine. She had previously come to Jacob and his sons, but they refused to listen to her. She gave birth to Amalek, also called Amaleks for Eliphaz. These were the children of Adah, Esau's wife. These are the dukes who came from the sons of Esau. From Eliphaz, Esau's firstborn came Duke Taman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These were the dukes descended from Eliphaz in the land of Edom, all sons of Adah. Jacob Saga, Solidarity Arc, Chapter 63, Carnage. In the 150th year of Jacob's life, which was the 9th year since he had settled in the land of Canaan with his children, he came from Paddan Aram. In the 6th year of this week of the 44th Jubilee, Jacob traveled with his children from Hebron, returning to the city of Shechem. They brought everything they owned and settled there, since the sons of Jacob had found good, fertile pasture land for their livestock around Shechem. By that time, the city had been rebuilt and was home to about 300 men and women. Jacob and his children, along with everything they had, settled in the part of the field that Jacob had bought from Hamor, Shechem's father, back when he first came from Paddan Aram, before Simeon and Levi attacked the city. Jacob, Levi, Judah, and Joseph stayed in the house with their father Isaac, because he was grieving and they couldn't leave him. Benjamin, being the youngest, also stayed with his father. All the kings of the Canaanites and Amorites around Shechem heard that Jacob's sons had returned and were living in the city again. They said,
"Are the sons of Jacob the Hebrew really going to come back and live in the city again after killing its people and driving them out? Are they planning to return and do the same to those living there now?"
So the 7 kings of the Amorites, rulers in Canaan, gathered again to kill Jacob and his sons. They planned to ambush them from the trees and steal their livestock. They came together to declare war against Jacob and his sons. Jashub, king of Tapnash, Taphu, sent messages to the nearby kings. Elon, king of Gash, Gas, Ehuri, king of Shiloh, Salo, Parathon, king of Chazar, Arisa, Susi, king of Sarton, Saragon, Laban, king of Bethcoron, Betharon, and Shabir, king of Othnaimah, Ma'anisakar. He said,
"Come help me attack Jacob the Hebrew, his sons, and everyone with him, because they have come back to Shechem to take over and kill the people, just like before."
All the kings assembled with their armies, a huge force, as numerous as sand on the seashore. They all gathered opposite Tapnach. Jashub led his army out and camped with them outside the city. The kings divided their forces into 7 divisions, creating 7 camps to stand against the sons of Jacob. Word reached Jacob.
"Look, the Amorite kings have surrounded your sons and taken their herds."
They also sent a message to Jacob and his sons, saying,
"Come meet us on the plain so we can settle the matter of the men of Shechem you killed. Now you're returning to the city again to live there and kill its people like before."
Jacob got up from his house. When his sons heard what the kings had said, they were furious. 3 of Jacob's sons quickly got up and armed themselves for war. They were joined by 102, $6,000 of their servants, also dressed and ready for battle. Jacob and all his sons and their servants went out to face the kings, with Jacob standing alongside them on the hill of Shechem. He prayed to the Lord, stretching out his hands and saying,
"O God, you are almighty and our Father. You made us, and we are the work of your hands. I ask you to deliver my sons in your mercy from the hands of their enemies, who are coming to fight them today. Save them, for you have the power to rescue the few from the many. Give my sons, your servants courage and strength to fight their enemies. Let their enemies fall before them, and do not let my sons or their servants die at the hands of the Canaanites. But if it is your will to take their lives, take them in your mercy by the hands of your angels, not by these Amorite kings."
When Jacob finished praying, the earth shook and the sun darkened. All the kings were terrified, and panic swept through their armies. The Lord heard Jacob's prayer and filled the hearts of all the kings and their troops with fear of Jacob's sons. God made them hear the sound of chariots, strong horses, and a massive army, though it was only Jacob's sons. The kings were deeply frightened of Jacob's sons. As they stood in their camps, Jacob's sons advanced with 112 men, shouting fiercely. When the kings saw them coming, they panicked even more and considered retreating, as they had the first time, not wanting to fight. But they didn't retreat, saying,
"It would be a disgrace to run from the Hebrews twice."
Jacob's sons came closer and faced the kings and their armies. They saw that the enemy was vast, like the sand of the sea. Jacob's sons cried out to the Lord,
"Help us, O Lord. Help us and answer us. We trust in you. Don't let us die at the hands of these uncircumcised men who have come against us today."
Each man took his weapons, shield and javelin, and they marched forward to fight. Judah ran ahead of his brothers with 10 of his servants and approached the kings. Jashub, king of Tapnach, came forward with his army to face Judah. When Judah saw them coming, his anger burned within him. He rushed into the battle, risking his life. Jashub, a strong and brave warrior, rode a powerful horse and wore armor of iron and brass from head to toe. He fired arrows from both hands, front and back, with deadly precision, his usual battle style. As he launched arrows at Judah, the Lord bound Jashub's hands so that the arrows rebounded onto his own men. Still, Jashub pressed forward, determined to fight Judah with arrows. The distance between them was about 30 cubits when Judah, furious, ran at him. He picked up a stone weighing 60 shekels and hurled it at Jashub's shield, stunning him and knocking him off his horse. The shield flew 15 cubits away and landed in front of the second camp. The other kings saw Judah's strength and what he had done to Jashub, and they were terrified. They gathered near Jashub's camp, seeing his confusion. Judah drew his sword and killed 42 men in Jashub's camp. The rest fled, leaving Jashub alone and still on the ground. Seeing this, Jashub quickly got up in terror and faced Judah. They fought one-on-one, shield to shield, while Jashub's men ran off in fear. Jashub tried to strike Judah in the head with his spear, but Judah raised his shield just in time. The blow split Judah's shield in two. Judah then drew his sword and struck Jashub at the ankles, cutting off his feet. Jashub fell, dropping his spear. Judah quickly grabbed the spear, used it to sever Jashub's head, and tossed it next to his feet. When Jacob's sons saw what Judah had done to Jashub, they charged into the other kings' ranks and fought their armies. They killed 15,000 men, cutting them down like gourds. The rest ran for their lives. Still standing over Jashub's body, Judah stripped off his mail armor and took the iron and brass. Then 9 of Jashub's captains came to fight Judah. Judah picked up a stone and struck one of them on the head, crushing his skull. He fell from his horse. The other 8, seeing Judah's strength, fled in fear. Judah and his 10 men chased them down and killed them. Jacob's sons kept fighting the king's armies and killed many. The kings and their captains held their ground, refusing to retreat. They shouted at their fleeing soldiers, but no one listened. Everyone was trying to save themselves. After defeating the armies, Jacob's sons regrouped and returned to Judah, who was still busy killing Jashub's 8 captains and stripping their armor. Levi saw Elon, king of Gosh, coming at him with 14 captains, but didn't realize at first what was happening. As Elon got closer, Levi turned and saw he was under attack from behind. He ran with 12 of his servants, and together they killed Elon and his captains with swords. Ehuri, king of Shiloh, came to help Elon. As he approached Jacob, Jacob drew his bow and shot Ehuri with an arrow, killing him. After Ehuri was killed, the 4 remaining kings fled with their captains. They said,
"We can't stand against the Hebrews now, not after they've killed 3 kings and their captains who were stronger than us."
Seeing the kings retreat, Jacob's sons gave chase. Jacob also came down from the hill of Shechem, and together they pursued the kings with their servants. When the kings, their captains, and the rest of their armies saw that the sons of Jacob were approaching, they feared for their lives and fled to the city of Chazar. The sons of Jacob chased them all the way to the city gate and struck down about 4,000 of their men. While the others fought the armies, Jacob focused on the kings, using his bow to kill them all. He shot Parathon, king of Chazar, at the city gate, and then killed Susi, king of Sarton, Laban, king of Bethcorin, and Shabir, king of Machnema, each with a single arrow. Seeing that all the kings were dead and the enemy troops were in retreat, the sons of Jacob kept fighting near the gate of Chazar, killing around 400 more men. During this battle, 3 of Jacob's servants were killed. Judah was deeply grieved by their deaths, and his anger burned against the Amorites. The rest of the enemy troops, terrified for their lives, rushed to the gate of Chazar, broke it open, and ran inside for safety, hiding in the center of the city. Chazar was a large and sprawling city. As soon as the armies entered, the sons of Jacob chased after them. Then, 4 mighty and experienced warriors came out from the city. They stood at the entrance with drawn swords and spears, blocking the way and refusing to let the sons of Jacob enter. Naphtali ran forward, stepped between them, and with one stroke of his sword, cut off the heads of 2 of the men. The other 2 tried to flee, but he chased them down, struck them, and killed them as well. When the sons of Jacob reached the city, they discovered a second wall and looked for a gate, but couldn't find one. Judah climbed over the wall with Simeon and Levi following. The 3 of them dropped down into the city. Simeon and Levi killed all the men who had taken refuge there, along with the city's inhabitants, including the women and children, killing them all by the sword. The cries of the people rose up to heaven. Dan and Naphtali climbed the wall to see what was causing the loud cries, as they were worried about their brothers. They overheard the city's inhabitants weeping and begging, saying,
"Take all that we possess in the city and go away, only do not put us to death."
Once Judah, Simeon, and Levi finished slaughtering the people, they climbed back up the wall and called to Dan, Naphtali, and the rest of their brothers. Simeon and Levi told them how to enter the city, and the rest of the sons of Jacob came in to gather the spoils. The sons of Jacob took all the spoils of Chazar, the flocks, herds, and property. They took everything they could capture and left the city that same day. The next day, the sons of Jacob went to Sarton after hearing that the remaining men there were gathering to fight because their king had been killed. Sarton was a tall and heavily fortified city with a deep rampart around it. The rampart was about 50 cubits high and 40 cubits wide, making it impossible for anyone to enter. The only entrance was in the back, and anyone wanting to get in had to go all the way around the city. Unable to find a way in, the sons of Jacob grew furious. The people of Sarton were terrified when they saw them coming, especially after hearing about what had happened in Chazar. They had originally gathered to fight, but now didn't dare face the sons of Jacob. In their panic, the people of Sarton quickly removed the bridge leading into the city and brought it inside. The sons of Jacob looked for another way into the city, but found none. Meanwhile, the people of Sarton climbed to the top of the wall and saw them trying to get in. From the top of the wall, they mocked and cursed the sons of Jacob, which only made them angrier. Enraged, the sons of Jacob leaped over the rampart, which was 40 cubits wide, using their sheer strength to get across. Once past the rampart, they stood under the city wall, where they found the gates locked with iron doors. As they tried to break them open, the people above rained down stones and arrows. About 400 men were stationed on the wall. Seeing this, the sons of Jacob climbed up. Judah went up the eastern side first, followed by Gad and Asher on the west, Simeon and Levi on the north, and Dan and Reuben on the south. The men on the wall, seeing them ascend, fled into the city and hid. Issachar and Naphtali, who had stayed below, broke the gates and set them on fire until the iron melted. Then all the sons of Jacob and their men entered and fought the inhabitants of Sarton, killing them all. About 200 men fled into a tower, but Judah chased them and brought it down on top of them, killing them all. The sons of Jacob climbed to the roof of the tower and saw another strong, towering structure nearby, so tall it seemed to reach the sky. They quickly descended and went with their men to that tower. Inside, they found about 300 men, women, and children. The sons of Jacob struck them down, and they fled in terror. Simeon and Levi chased them, but then 12 mighty and valiant men came out of hiding and fought fiercely. Simeon and Levi couldn't overpower them, and the men broke their shields. One even struck Levi on the head, but Levi raised his hand just in time. The sword hit his hand and nearly severed it. Levi managed to grab the attacker's sword and kill him with it. The remaining 11 men came at Levi, seeing one of their own killed. The battle raged on, but the sons of Jacob still couldn't prevail. Then Simeon let out a loud, thunderous scream, stunning the 11 warriors. Judah, hearing his brother's cry, came running with Naphtali. They brought new shields for Simeon and Levi. Together the 3 brothers fought the 11 warriors until sunset, but still couldn't defeat them. Jacob heard what was happening and was deeply troubled. He prayed to the Lord and then went with Naphtali to face the warriors. Drawing his bow, Jacob approached the mighty men and killed 3 of them. The remaining 8, now under attack from both front and rear, panicked and couldn't hold their ground. They fled. In their retreat, they ran into Dan and Asher, who were on their way. Dan and Asher attacked and killed 2 more of them. Judah and his brothers then caught up and finished off the rest. Afterward, the sons of Jacob searched the city for survivors and found about 20 young men hiding in a cave. Gad and Asher killed them. Dan and Naphtali found the remaining fugitives from the second tower and killed them too. They killed all the men of Sarton but left the women and children alive. The men of Sarton had been extremely powerful. 1 could chase 1,000 and 2 would stand firm against 10,000. But the sons of Jacob killed them all, leaving only the women. The sons of Jacob took everything they wanted from the city: flocks, herds, and property. They treated Sarton and its people just as they had Chazar and its people, and then they left. As the sons of Jacob left Sarton and had traveled about 200 cubits, they encountered the people of Tapnach coming to fight. These were the survivors, angry because their king and his men had been killed. They wanted to reclaim the spoils the sons of Jacob had taken from Chazar and Sarton. A battle broke out, and the sons of Jacob defeated them. The people of Tapnach fled to Arbalan, but the sons of Jacob pursued and defeated them all. The sons of Jacob returned to Tapnach to collect the spoils. While there, they heard that the people of Arbalan were coming to try and recover what had been taken. They left 10 men behind to finish plundering Tapnach and went out to meet the people of Arbalan. The people of Arbalan came out with their wives, about 400 in total, because the women were also skilled in battle. As the sons of Jacob ran toward them, they shouted loudly, like roaring lions and crashing waves. The people of Arbalan were overwhelmed with fear and ran back into the city. The sons of Jacob chased them to the city gate and entered. Inside, they fought fiercely. The women joined the fight by slinging stones. The battle lasted all day, and the sons of Jacob were nearly defeated. But they cried out to the Lord and were strengthened. Toward evening, they killed all the people, men, women, and children. They also found and killed the survivors from Sarton hiding in Arbalan. The sons of Jacob treated Arbalan and Tapnach just like Chazar and Sarton. When the women saw the men were dead, they climbed onto the roofs and rained down stones. The sons of Jacob stormed the city, seized the women, and killed them with the sword. Then they took all the spoils, flocks, herds, and cattle. The sons of Jacob treated Machnima the same way they had dealt with Tapnach, Chazar, and Shiloh. After that, they left the area and went on their way. On the 5th day, the sons of Jacob heard that the people of Gosh were preparing to fight them, angry that they had killed their king and all 14 of the city's captains in the first battle. That day, the sons of Jacob armed themselves for war and marched out to battle the people of Gosh. Gosh was inhabited by strong and mighty Amorites and was the most fortified city among them, protected by 3 walls. When the sons of Jacob arrived, they found the gates locked. Around 500 men were stationed on top of the outermost wall, and a vast number of people, like the sand of the seashore, lay in ambush outside the city, waiting at the rear. As the sons of Jacob moved in to try and open the gates, the ambushers at the rear sprang from hiding and surrounded them. They were now trapped, with the enemy attacking from both front and rear, while the men on the wall rained down arrows and stones. Seeing that the pressure from Gosh was growing intense, Judah let out a powerful and piercing shriek. The cry terrified the men of Gosh. Some even fell from the wall in fear, and those both inside and outside the city were scared for their lives. Even as the sons of Jacob tried to break through the city gates, the men of Gosh kept throwing down stones and arrows, forcing them to back away. So the brothers turned their attention to the men outside the city and struck them with great force, like smashing gourds. The enemy couldn't stand their ground. The terror from Judah's shriek still gripped them. The sons of Jacob killed all the men who had been outside the city and then attempted again to breach the city and fight under its walls. But they couldn't get close because the remaining inhabitants of Gosh had lined the walls in every direction, blocking access. When the brothers approached a corner of the wall to fight, they were again driven back by arrows and stones falling like rain. From the wall, the men of Gosh mocked them, saying,
"Why can't you win this battle? Do you think you can conquer the mighty city of Gosh the way you did the weaker Amorite cities? You only managed to defeat the weaker ones who panicked at your shouting. But here you'll all die, and we'll avenge the cities you've destroyed."
They kept insulting the sons of Jacob and mocking their God while continuing to hurl arrows and stones. Judah and his brothers grew furious. Judah, jealous for his God, cried out,
O Lord, help! Send help to us and our brothers.
He ran with all his strength, sword drawn, and leapt from the ground, climbing the wall by sheer force. His sword slipped from his hand, but he shouted from the wall, and the men there were terrified. Some fell into the city and died, while others ran for their lives. A few tried to fight Judah, seeing he had no weapon. They planned to throw him off the wall to his brothers. About 20 men came up to help and surrounded Judah with drawn swords, shouting and advancing on him. Judah called out to his brothers from the wall. Jacob and his sons shot arrows from below and killed 3 of the men on top of the wall. Judah kept crying out, saying,
O Lord, help us. O Lord, deliver us.
And his voice echoed far and wide. He shouted again, and his cry made all those surrounding him drop their swords in fear and run. Judah grabbed their swords and fought them, killing 20 men on the wall. Then about 80 more men and women came up from the city and surrounded Judah, but the Lord put fear in their hearts, and they couldn't approach him. Jacob and his sons continued shooting from below, killing 10 more, who fell from the wall in front of them. Seeing that 20 of their men had already died, more of the city's fighters charged at Judah with swords, but they were too afraid to reach him. One mighty man named Arid tried to strike Judah's head. Judah raised his shield just in time. The sword hit it and split in 2. The man then ran away in fear, but slipped on the wall and fell to the ground, where the sons of Jacob killed him. Judah's head throbbed from the blow. He nearly died. Crying out from the pain, he was heard by Dan, who burned with rage. Dan ran, sprang from the ground, and climbed the wall with great strength. When Dan joined Judah on the wall, the rest of the enemy there retreated to the second wall and attacked with arrows and stones, trying to drive them off. Dan and Judah were nearly killed as the assault continued wherever they went on the wall. Jacob and his sons were still at the gate below the first wall, unable to shoot at the people on the second wall because they couldn't see them. Dan and Judah, overwhelmed by the relentless barrage, jumped onto the second wall to face the city's people. When the defenders saw them coming, they panicked, cried out, and retreated down between the walls. Jacob and his sons heard the shouting but still couldn't see Dan and Judah. Worried, Naphtali climbed the first wall with great force to find out what was happening. Issachar and Zebulun broke down the city gates and entered. Naphtali jumped from the first wall to the second to join his brothers. When the defenders saw him join them, they all fled into the city. Then Jacob, all his sons, and their young men entered the city. Judah, Dan, and Naphtali came down from the wall and chased the fleeing inhabitants. Meanwhile, Simeon and Levi, still outside the city and unaware that the gate was open, climbed the wall and joined their brothers. The entire population had fled inside the city. The sons of Jacob attacked from all sides, front and rear, killing about 20,000 men and women. None could stand against them. Blood flowed like a stream through the city and out to the desert of Beth-chorin. From a distance, the people of Beth-chorin saw it and sent 70 men to investigate. They followed the blood trail to the city wall and heard the cries of the people of Gaash rising to the heavens as the blood continued to pour out like a river. The sons of Jacob were still fighting, still killing the people of Gaash until evening, around 20,000 in total. The people of Chorin said,
"This must be the work of the Hebrews. They're still fighting in all the Amorite cities."
They ran back to Beth-chorin, armed themselves, and rallied the whole city to go and fight the sons of Jacob. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons, after finishing the battle, walked through Gaash, stripping the slain. Deep within the city, they encountered 3 very powerful men with no swords in hand. As the sons of Jacob approached, the powerful men fled. One of them grabbed Zebulun, who was young and short, and hurled him to the ground. Jacob rushed in and struck the man below the waist with his sword, cutting him in 2, and his body fell on top of Zebulun. Another man tried to bring Jacob down, but Jacob shouted while Simeon and Levi ran up and struck the man on the hips, knocking him to the ground. As he tried to get up, Judah rushed in and struck him on the head, splitting it open. He died instantly. The third man, seeing his companions dead, ran, but the sons of Jacob chased him. As he fled, he found a sword, picked it up, and turned to fight. He aimed a blow at Judah's head. Judah had no shield, but Naphtali quickly raised his own and blocked the strike. The sword hit Naphtali's shield, and Judah was saved. The sons of Jacob took all the plunder from Gaash and left the city by night, heading toward the castle of Beth-chorin. Meanwhile, the people of Beth-chorin were already on their way to meet them. That night, a battle broke out at the castle. The men of Beth-chorin were fierce warriors, each one strong enough not to flee from 1,000 enemies. They fought hard all night on the castle grounds, their shouts echoing far and wide, and the ground shook from the noise. The sons of Jacob, unaccustomed to night fighting, were afraid and confused. They cried out to the Lord,
"Give help to us, O Lord. Deliver us, that we may not die by the hands of these uncircumcised men."
The Lord heard their cry and sent a spirit of confusion over the people of Beth-Korin. In the darkness, they turned on each other, striking down their own. Realizing what was happening, the sons of Jacob withdrew from the enemy lines and made their way down past the castle, camping safely with their young men for the night. The people of Beth-Korin continued fighting among themselves all night, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor. Their cries rang out across the castle and were heard far away, and the ground trembled at their voices. They were the strongest of all people. All the Canaanite cities, the Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, kings of Canaan, and even those beyond the Jordan, heard the noise that night. They said,
"Surely these are the battles of the Hebrews, the ones fighting the 7 cities. Who can stand against them?"
They were all deeply afraid.
"What happened to those cities will happen to us. Who can resist their strength?"
they said. The shouting from the Koranites kept rising through the night as they fought each other, and many were killed. At sunrise, the sons of Jacob rose and stormed the castle, striking down all the remaining Koranites in a brutal battle. None survived. On the 6th day, the Canaanites saw the corpses of the people of Beth-Korin strewn across the castle grounds, lying like sheep and goats. The sons of Jacob then carried all the loot they had taken from Gosh and went to Beth-Korin. They found it packed with people, like the sand of the sea, and fought them until evening. The sons of Jacob treated Beth-Korin just as they had done to Gosh, Tapnach, Chazar, Sartan, and Shiloh. They killed them in the pastures of Shechem and chased down the ones who ran. They struck them down with the sword, Arisa, Tafu, Saragan, Salo, Ammanisakir, and Gagaz, and reclaimed their herds. The sons of Jacob gathered all the spoils from Beth-Korin and the surrounding cities and headed back to Shechem that same day. When they arrived, they stayed just outside the city and rested there overnight after the battle. They left all their servants and the plunder outside the city and didn't go in themselves. They said,
"We might still be attacked, and they could try to besiege us in Shechem."
Jacob, his sons, and their servants stayed that night and the following day in the section of the field Jacob had purchased from Hamor for 5 shekels. They kept all the captured goods with them. The amount of loot the sons of Jacob had taken filled that part of the field. It was as vast as the sand on the seashore. People from the surrounding land watched from a distance, and they were terrified of the sons of Jacob and what they had done. No king, even from ancient times, had ever accomplished anything like it. When the sons of Jacob saw that no one was coming to fight, they gathered and went into the city of Shechem and stayed there. After 40 days, all the Amorite kings came from their cities and gathered in Hebron, at the invitation of Japhia, king of Hebron. In total, 21 kings came to make peace with the sons of Jacob. With them were 69 captains and 189 men. They all camped by Mount Hebron. The king of Hebron set out with his 3 captains and 9 men. The kings had agreed that they would go together to meet the sons of Jacob to propose peace. They said to Japhia,
"You go ahead with your men and speak on our behalf to the sons of Jacob. We'll come after you to confirm your message."
So the king of Hebron went ahead as planned. When the sons of Jacob heard that all the kings of Canaan had gathered in Hebron, they sent 4 of their servants as spies. They said,
"Go check out these kings and count their men. See if there are many or few, and if there are few, number them all and report back."
Jacob's servants quietly went to spy on the kings and did as they were told. That same day they returned and reported,
"We went to see those kings. There aren't many of them. We counted 288 total, kings and men combined."
The sons of Jacob said,
"That's a small number, so not all of us need to go."
The next morning they selected 62 of their men, and 10 of the sons of Jacob went with them. They armed themselves, saying,
"They're probably coming to fight us,"
since they didn't know the kings were actually seeking peace. The sons of Jacob, with their servants, went to meet the kings at the gate of Shechem. Jacob also went with them. As they approached, they saw Japhia, king of Hebron, with his 3 captains and 9 men coming toward them on the road. The sons of Jacob stood their ground at the gate and didn't advance. The king of Hebron and his captains kept coming until they reached the sons of Jacob. When they arrived, they bowed down to the ground. The king of Hebron sat down with his captains in front of Jacob and his sons. The sons of Jacob asked,
"What's going on, O king of Hebron? Why have you come to us today? What do you want from us?"
The king of Hebron answered Jacob,
"I beg you, my lord,
All the Canaanite kings have come today to make peace with you.
But the sons of Jacob didn't agree to his offer. They didn't trust him and believed he was lying. The king of Hebron picked up on their suspicion and came closer to Jacob. He said,
Please, my lord, be assured, all these kings truly come in peace. They haven't brought all their men, nor have they come armed. They are sincerely seeking peace with you and your sons.
The sons of Jacob replied,
If you're telling the truth, then send word to the other kings. Have each one come before us alone. If they come unarmed, then we'll believe they're seeking peace.
So Japhia, king of Hebron, sent a messenger to the other kings, and they all came before the sons of Jacob. They bowed down to the ground and sat before Jacob and his sons. They said,
We've heard what you did to the Amorite kings with your sword and your overwhelming strength. No one could stand against you. We feared for our lives, thinking we might meet the same fate. So we've come to make a peace treaty with you. Please agree to a covenant of peace and truth, promising not to interfere with us, just as we've not interfered with you.
The sons of Jacob realized the kings were genuinely seeking peace, so they listened and made a covenant with them. The sons of Jacob swore not to attack them, and the Canaanite kings also swore in return. From that day on, the sons of Jacob made them pay tribute, 5 fruit products from their land. Jacob also built the cities of Robel and Tamnatares. Afterward, the captains of the kings came with their men and brought gifts for Jacob and his sons. They bowed down to the ground before them. Then the kings pleaded with the sons of Jacob to return all the goods they had taken from the 7 Amorite cities. The sons of Jacob agreed. They returned everything, the women, children, livestock, and all the plunder, and sent it all back. The kings and their men went back to their cities. Again, all the kings bowed down before the sons of Jacob and brought them many gifts over the following days. The sons of Jacob sent them off in peace, and they returned to their cities. The sons of Jacob also went back to their home in Shechem. From that day forward, there was peace between the sons of Jacob and the Canaanite kings. The kings became Jacob's subjects, and this continued until the Israelites came to inherit the land of Canaan, or until the day Jacob and his sons went down into Egypt.